It tells me I'm live. Am I live? Ha ha.
I'll let you know when it starts happening.
We'll wait for the stream on YouTube to catch up.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Right, so we'll mute that one. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another Friday from the corner. And it's sunny out, but not exactly dry. We've had a bit of rain today. So, good afternoon, Cheryl. God bless the lovely lost souls. Mrs. W, as always, here. Jorge, Alistair, Alec. Who else we got in here? Rob, I thought I saw your name up there. Obi, good afternoon, mate. Welcome to you all. Well, what fun and frolics we can have this afternoon. Well, there's been a lot going on, hasn't there? With old Roland doing not U-turns like the press was saying, that all he's done is put a hold on things. And I've just got to do something else. I will drop off camera for a minute. How do I do that? That one. Right, I'll be back in a minute. Just hang on there. I haven't gone away. But it's something I was supposed to do before I came on air and totally forgot.
And you don't want to watch?
No, you don't want to watch. Right. And we're back. Basically, I'd forgotten to glue my chops in. Missy, good afternoon, sweetheart. Yeah, all good here. Little bit tired. I haven't had a kip this afternoon. But there you go. Good afternoon, Dan. It's not. No. I don't touch myself at this time of day. Not unless I really get an itch, anyway. Yep, all in England. Fixodent. The trouble is, I don't want to be halfway through a sentence and they end up on the bloody keyboard or something like that, which has happened before. And I have lost them when I've been making videos on the odd occasion. Tony Williams, good afternoon, mate. Phil, good afternoon, buddy. Welcome for our little Friday soiree, as they say. Yeah, Rishi, Roland, rolling back all this eco shit. As I say, he's not cancelling any of it. All he's doing is prolonging the suffering and giving himself time to try and rob us of some more taxes to actually pay for it all. But, I mean, I can't get my head around the heat pumps. Why do we need heat pumps if it's global warming? Surely you ain't going to need any heating if it's going the way that they're saying. Although the scientists will say it's going another way and actually proving it as well. So. But yeah, he's done that. He's done a lot of, I mean, he said he's changing a lot of things. Just a short list he gave. There's nothing on there that they've actually put in place anyway. But under the smokescreen of the Russell Brand case and all this balls that they're coming out with now all over mainstream, they managed to get the two major bills they wanted through, both of which contradict everything he said yesterday. Afternoon, Paul. Welcome, sir. Yeah, we're not going to force you at the moment to upgrade your insulation and shit like that, but we've just passed a bill that you can be arrested if you don't. The same as he said, anybody that objects to what he's doing, of course there's going to be those, and he said they have an absolute right within free speech to disagree with him while passing a bill that's doing away and making it illegal to do that. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Yeah, no worries, Dan. I know you're sleeping. That's all over the shit place again. Hopefully there will be a live Sunday, but as Dan admits himself, that could be subject to change. It's down to how he feels on the day, basically, whether he's well enough or feels well enough to do it. So, good afternoon, Stuart. Thanks for dropping in, mate. What's going on? What are you on about, Alistair? Paul's a good guy. Yeah, they did go into that, Rob. They were saying that obviously some properties can't be converted, and there are lots that need a lot more than what they think needs doing to bring them up to the standard they want, shall I say. They're not going to ban boilers for now, obviously. Whether that will change, I don't know. But obviously, the more they convert, the less boilers will be available. So it'll probably be up to the householder to keep the boiler serviceable, shall I say. But, you know, that's not good enough. They're not catering for everybody. I know you can't cater for absolutely every single individual. But again, they've made rash decisions, on the spot decisions. They haven't talked about it. They haven't thought of the fallout and what it will do eventually. But yeah, it's like everything they do, that they don't think it through, and the side effects, I'll call, of it. Yeah, we've seen it time and time again when they've done something, and it's it's turned out badly, shall we say, very badly. Right, hopefully that's the oh no, I don't want that one. I want that one. There we go. We can get that. See, I remembered I'd done it early this week, and so I don't forget. Alistair, if you're going to continue to try and wind people up like that, mate, ain't happening, buddy. Quit it now while you're ahead. We don't play those games in here. But yeah, on that global warming thing, it's. I mean, again, I've said it so many times. Even the council properties, if they tried to do all the council properties, every single council in this country would be broke. And when they first started talking about it, there was I don't know whether he was a politician or someone up in the ranks, looked into it. Yeah, well, we don't see it that way, Alec. And like I say, it stops now, mate. I always try and give a friendly warning and just say, look, quit it. But see, I've lost myself now. Yeah, he done this calculation, and the speed that they can fit them with, I think it was quadruple the amount of fitters that were about, it would take them something like about 85 years. Yes, Holly, absolutely, darling. Absolutely. Thank you. But yeah, it's not feasible. It's not affordable. It's not feasible. Yeah, giving people $7.5 grand. They're saying it's going to cost 10 grand to do a house. Well, it isn't. The more likely normal price, according to plumbers, is around 15 to 20 grand, and that is just the basic. It can go up to 30, 35 if they've got to replace all the radiators and the plumbing, which in a lot of cases they will have to do, especially in older council properties. I mean, they asked us if we wanted the gas fire taken out. I'm like, you go fuck yourselves. I said, because if the electric goes, the boiler's pointless, the heating's off, but it doesn't need electricity to use the gas fire. So, you know, we wouldn't be left without any heating unless they turn the gas off. But we know how the corrupt bastards work. That's even a possibility, isn't it? You know. Sorry, guys, I'm not keeping too much of an eye on the chat there while I'm waffling. But yeah, and again, dickhead Khan. Oh, carnage. Now, I saw the report where he'd got together with this group. What is it? C40 something or other, which is all the people that run a lot of the major cities in the world that want these 15-minute cities or 15-minute zones, and what he's been trying to do in London. And all of a sudden he's popped up on that committee. Now there's very, very powerful people in there. It's obviously connected to the WEF as well. And this is a global group. This is not just in this country. This is global. EU, other places, and America, Middle East. But now he's got on or formed this committee looking into the Met to oversee the Metropolitan Police Corporation, as I call them now. And saying that they're there. There'll be members of the public from varying trades, professions. Obviously, they'll have to have a legal expert there. Obviously, there will be ex-police there, obviously. But he's saying, oh, the Met has fallen behind. It hasn't been doing what it's supposed to have been doing. It hasn't sorted itself out. They haven't whittled the bad ones out. And I'm like, fuck me, you dick. You've been there, what, 7.5 years? So literally half of the 20 years that this has been going on, that you say, you've been the one that's in charge of them. So who's the one that's done nothing? Despite you being constantly asked and called out on it. Yes, Holly. All right, Paul.
Man, you just looked too lonely on there, so I said, fuck it.
I'm all right, waffling away here of where I missed a couple of days through tech issues and things. I've got a whole pad full of notes that I hadn't used.
Oh, just, man, don't even go there with paperwork. I woke up there this morning at the police ombudsman phoning me. Brain couldn't switch on. I just hung her up, went down the stairs, in the post box. The next thing, there's 3 letters in there from the police ombudsman. One letter in very particular. You remember the demonstration on the 31st of May? The ombudsman ended up closing up their office that day because of
Yeah.
us demonstrating outside. Well, they threatened me to take me to court before that. Now, considering they sent a letter out the day before to my address, which I wasn't at home, I was actually took away in case I wasn't able to make it for some strange reason beyond my control. Well, lad. The demonstration was on the 31st of May. Now, I just received a letter the other day from the very top woman of the ombudsman, which I asked for a meeting with her regarding my son's malicious prosecutions, which was failed in a court, thrown out. Don't want to meet me in that letter. Don't want me to meet me regarding them threatening to take me to court 2 times. That are an ongoing complaint which I've asked them to look into regarding a GDPR breach where that day one of the guys come out with the same letter and tried to serve me out in public, out in the middle of the street. Tried to serve me noticing this here. I refused to accept it. So he left it on the bench, said he's not taking that off me, taking it back, refusing to identify himself the whole lot. And regarding this here matter, it is unreal. In this letter, she stated everything different on that regarding what I said. But the main bit was, Roger, and forgive me, we're just up here picking my ex-wife up at the hospital at the moment. She's
No
getting
worries,
her Brenda. Regarding that matter, she said that I took the letter back into the police ombudsman and handed it over to G4S security. Now she said that I stated that and all this record. I turned around and then left the ombudsman a wee bit shocked whenever I says, "Were you sure about that?" Whenever I have an auditor there with 2 body cams on him, recording himself taking that in, and also he was recording it on his mobile phone. And also another auditor there that was also recording everything with him walking into the office. Now I have caught the top person out on victimization against myself on that matter where I've turned around and I stated to the manager, this is nothing but victimization against me, against my 2 sons with all the complaints we put in, and now you have just given me the full proof I need in this. The manager couldn't get off the phone quick enough because they also know I record every single word they're sending me.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of the auditors coming out of the woodwork again over here now. But like I said, I don't watch a lot of them.
Man, I will respect the auditors. I don't get watching a lot of their work, but I will promote them as much as I can on the TikTok channel and Facebook page and out there. Whatever way I can get it out, the likes of yourself, Motor.
Yeah.
Before I actually come on here, I was making sure that you're posted up here for your Friday noon afternoon live. And my apologies because I don't do enough of that for you.
If I see a mate, I always give you a thumbs up on them.
Yeah, oh man. Likewise, and I see Danny shouting in there and those souls. I hope you are keeping all right there as well, folks.
Yeah, absolutely fine, mate. You're still getting the tiredness. Dan's getting it a lot worse than I am. He's been through a lot. But we just take it day by day at the moment, especially with everything they're changing now, with the 2 new bills they push through.
I was like, as all Roger, we're not getting any younger, but then again, we all still can get more beautiful as we grow mature. Would be the proper word.
The thing is, I mean, yeah, I see a lot of youngsters on here saying the same as me, saying that this ain't right, we can see what's going on. but there seems to be that group between the youngsters that have been awakened or been awake from the beginning because their parents have showed them, and people our age, and then you've got a group somewhere out there that just they don't know what to do. They just follow everything blindly, and they're the ones that we need to come across and get their eyes opened.
You see this whole week that what I've caught out one as well. I'm going to end up having to go here in the next couple of minutes because I'll lose the signal here.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
But even the PPS, Public Prosecution Services Monitor, I had 2 managers on the phone, both of them hanging the phone up at me. They're discriminating against me on the phone calls. All why? Because all I just want does a summons come out from a government building and a sealed envelope. A man. For managers, they couldn't even answer that. Well, I phoned the police answered that. Yeah, well, the night before that, I spent 3/4 of an hour on the sergeant trying to get him to answer that question.
There you go. Holly's just put your link in the chat. If anybody wants to follow what's happening with the PSNI over in Northern Ireland, believe me, they're as bad as any of the ones we got here, and in a lot of cases worse. And Paul has been going through it with them.
You want to see that one?
Yeah.
Roger, I'm going to jump back off here anyway, Motor, because I'll end up losing the signal, and I don't want to be deemed that ignorant.
No worries, mate.
I do actually have a signal here. Talking to you for a moment. Thank you very, very much for having me on there, Roger. Danny,
you're always welcome, mate. And if anybody ever needs your link, there is a permanent one in the description under every video that I post as well.
That's our there on the wee group there as well. Roger, thank you. I do appreciate that there.
Not
Danny,
a problem, Paul.
Get yourself well. Lost souls. Everybody else there. I hope you're all keeping really well, and I wish you a good weekend. I'll see what happens Sunday night. Might be able to get on, depending on where I get a signal. I don't know, but I can stay on with you here. But there's Danny. I keep losing the signal.
Tell him to move.
Anyway, Roger, if you're still hearing me there, you take care, Motor, and thank you very, very much, sir.
All right,
I wish you all the very best.
Say hi to the family for us.
Later, bro.
Take care, buddy.
The fact that he stayed on just means he gets a signal at the hospital, not at home.
Yeah.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Jack. If just
How did you know that I wasn't a robot?
Andy, welcome, mate. Sorry, I didn't get a break there to say hello to you personally.
I could have been a robot.
No, all it is Andy's driving, so he actually just listens. He can't always get in the comments, and he's been a buddy of mine for a while. He was the first one that showed me how to go live with StreamYard. Yeah, quite some time back. So,
was it not Dan that did that then? Was it not Dan that helped you out with that then?
Yeah, everybody has, including yourself. But the first time I did it, it was on somebody else's channel. It was on Matrix's. I was in his chat. And he said, if anybody wants to pop up, here's the link. Well, I didn't know what I was doing. What do I do with this? So Andy actually talked me through it in the chat, the stages to opening StreamYard, getting StreamYard running. And then going on the panel. Only to get on the panel and find out it was the first time that Matrix had ever had a guest on there. So it was a first for him as well.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into the actual live streaming.
Fair enough.
Thanks to Andy. And he's always supported this channel, and he's always supported Dan's channel.
Have you... I was going to ask.
Good afternoon. Sorry,
I was going to ask, how did you... Have you and Heather managed to figure out the issue with the camera?
We haven't touched it yet, but after listening to lots and lots of advice, as soon as I finish live today, I'm going to walk away from this one, and Heather's going to jump on, and go through it all again. We know where the problem is. We just
Okay.
don't know what's causing it.
Yeah.
So it may be a hard drive issue. I don't, as you know,
Don't think so.
I'm a technophobe, but she doesn't think so.
Yeah.
It's something to do with the way the computer is compressing or using the footage from the camera.
Yeah.
And it's getting corrupted between there and appearing on the computer.
Right. Okay. And do you know on the camera itself? Can you view the recordings on the camera itself without going onto the computer?
No.
Okay. Because what I know that with some like expensive cameras and stuff, you can view the recordings on there without.
Webcam.
All I've got is
Oh, it's just a webcam.
mate.
Oh, is it just a webcam?
I've got
okay.
the one up there, which is a Logi HD.
Okay.
That's the one Pat gave me.
Yeah.
And then I've got that one, which is just a normal webcam.
Yeah.
And then I've got that one, which is again a high definition.
Yeah.
Not an expensive one. I mean, that one was about 20 quid.
Yeah.
Well, you know me, I do everything on the cheap.
If it works, it works. You don't need to. You don't need to be expensive.
That one was the one that used to mess around before. I don't normally have it plugged in, and I have tested it with the others. We've been through different tests with each camera to see what's buggering up. If it's the camera, basically, that's the one that used to turn itself off after about 10 minutes.
Did it used to overheat?
I don't know what it was, mate. I don't know what it was. But Jason, good afternoon, mate. Yes, it could be, Rob. But Heather does know a way around inside the casings and stuff like that, and how to put things in. I don't. I'm a total technophobe, as Jack knows.
The weird thing is, right, is some problems that you get, right, you think to yourself, or you try and investigate, and there are times where I've done it myself, and I've tried to investigate an issue with my computer. Could be internally or externally, or in like on the computer itself, rather than inside it. And I'm thinking it's so bloody difficult, or what's the issue? I can't figure it out. And then I just have this brainstorm. Something pops in my head. I have a look at it, and it is exactly what I just thought, and it fixes it. And the times where I'm spending hours on trying to fix one thing, and I just have this brainstorm and I fix it in like 30 seconds. I'm like, well,
I don't even know where to bloody look. So,
yeah,
so that's why I leave it.
It could be anything for all we know, but
it could be just a loose connection.
Could be.
You know, I'm the sort of
there's lots of
good
things.
afternoon, Stitch. How are you, sweetheart?
Are you using a computer, or are you using a desktop or a laptop?
I'm using a desktop at the moment.
Okay, so yeah. So is it in your desktop that's the issue, or is it in the laptop?
Yeah. The laptop works absolutely fine.
Right, okay.
And they both, now I've got rid of the Clipchamp, the Windows new editor,
right,
and installed CapCut. I don't get any issues there because it's not trying to use a cloud or anything like Clipchamp does. It's just between me and the computer. It doesn't go anywhere else. And that works fine. I'm absolutely brilliant with that thing. I'm happy with what it does. It does a lot more than the original one.
Yeah.
I don't need a lot of the features on there, so I don't need to pay for the Pro.
No.
You know, I can overlay tracks.
Which is pretty good.
To do that.
It's a lot better than
how
Clipchamp,
I made the new opening. That was all made on there.
I like that. The one with the globe. I like that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the 3D animations in there.
Yeah.
I can't get anymore because they were on the old editing suite, which is now debunked. There is probably some in there, but I've got to find them. There's so much. I mean, it took me an hour to go through just what stickers are in there.
But the thing is, if it works for you, it works for you, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, it keeps that hamster wheel turning, mate. It keeps my brain going, learning.
Yeah.
And I just go in, like I said to Dan yesterday, I'll go in there over a weekend. If I'm not watching motor racing or something on here, I'll drop in there for an hour and I'll just play with it. Take one of
Yeah.
my old videos, take a few pictures, take some audio, and just try all the different effects, see what I can do with it, how it all works.
Ooh.
And yeah, it's
Recently,
more
I've
than
been
enough.
tinkering with just in my spare time because
How
I won't
many hours?
go into.
That's
I
right.
won't go-
I'm just trying to get it
No,
off the tech jack because it's not for everybody, as you know.
No, it's okay. That's fine.
Especially me.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about tech for
I was
barely
just going to
anything.
answer Alec there. How many hours do I
Okay.
sleep a night? About 3, mate, maximum, usually. But yeah, that CapCut, I like it, mate. I like it.
Yeah. See, I have had a little look at it, but do you know, because I'm so used to the editor I'm using, do you know the problem with switching? Again, I don't want to talk about tech for too long. The problem with switching
Afternoon, Chrissy.
between different editors, for example, is all of the information and the knowledge that you've gained from using that editor, and then you switch over to a brand new one that looks completely different, probably has the same features but works in a different way.
Oh, it's totally different.
It's like you have to start from scratch or start from square one again, kind of thing, if you understand what I mean, unless you're quite tech-minded.
Problem too, Jack. That's what
Yeah.
he hates. He gets used to the layout of something, and then YouTube, eBay, whatever it is, goes, we think it'd be better like this. He hates it.
They seem to make everything more long-winded and then call it an upgrade.
That reminds me as well. Funny you mentioned that. You notice how over the years they've massively changed the YouTube layout, the way we see things on YouTube. Lots of other things, not just YouTube, Facebook. Not really interested in Instagram, but mainly those two that I've seen. I don't use Twitter, or X as it's called now.
I don't use. I'm on Facebook. That's it.
Yeah, but the way that it's changed now, it's like, do you know, because you've used it for that long, you kind of visualize where everything's going to be, like what buttons in what place on the screen, and then you've got to learn where every other button's on the screen again, and it's like, what, you know? Yeah. But I've been trying to take my mind off of things because I've been having some things going on, not in my personal life. Well, you could say it's personal, but not really, because it's not like he was with me, but I had some personal things going on. I've known someone for 7 years from the internet, and I won't go into too much detail because I don't want to. That's not what the live stream's about. It's just about hanging out and, you know, talking to people and whatnot. But they were very controlling, toxic, and, you know, and they didn't like what they heard. So I made the decision not to contact them again. And since then, I've been doing things when I've got the chance to go on the computer. I'm not in a rush to go on the computer. I can take my mind off of things, and I've been tinkering with game development at the moment and website building. Whichever one I do, whenever I feel like it.
Yeah, see, I don't do any other media really. Literally only opened my Facebook page because a mate of mine and the missus persuaded me to do it. I think it was more because she was getting fed up of relaying messages from me mates on me. So I've always said, no, I don't want that shit.
Yeah.
But they persuaded me to do it. So between them, they opened the page for me. They put it on there. I didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
But as we saw last week, an old mate of mine that I haven't even seen for 40 years all of a sudden popped up in the back room in here because he found me on Facebook.
Wow.
And it's a lad that I grew up with from probably 8 years old, 9 years old, if that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
so for that,
a very good reuniting moment.
And it's also, well, those that follow me on Facebook have probably noticed it's another place to advertise my videos.
Yeah, it is.
You know, there's people on there that didn't know I even had a YouTube channel to start with. so it's widening the audience. I mean, I've never wanted the big channel, as you know. I've always said that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with. I think there are more subs out there than what YouTube are showing. I've always believed that because I used to get notifications of people have subbed and the numbers wouldn't go up. But I don't bother with the analytics now. I just glance at them and that's it. But he's been summoned somewhere.
Can I say, well done to Jack? For getting rid of somebody toxic out of your life.
He's not there at the moment. He's off talking.
Sorry, I'm back now. Sorry, I was listening. It's just I was just talking to my brother.
Go on then. What was you going to say, Donny?
I was going to say, well done for getting rid of that toxic person out of your life because it's never easy.
Yeah.
You sound so much happier than the last time we spoke. You really do sound like you're in a much better place. And regarding the game creation and web design and all of that, it's a possible future career for you.
Yeah.
Well done. Go for it. See if there's any courses.
And
you
it's
can get
one
yourself on so you can get yourself a qualification.
It's one you could go well through with because the autism will help you. Look at your knowledge on tech and that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, not being rude to a lot of people when I say that autism is probably helping you to get to that level with the tech where you can even think about these sort of things.
More analytical.
I can't say calculating because they use that in bad terms, but you figure things out quickly, like you say. You know what you're looking at. You know what you're talking about. And that could be a good path for you, mate.
The thing is, as well, it's having the time. It's not necessarily it's also the motivation. It's how I'm feeling in the day. But the thing for me is having someone. By the way, this person, the reason why I decided to call it quits is because he only wanted me for my knowledge of tech, right? Because I'm a tech guru. He wanted my knowledge, or he wanted my tech knowledge, right? And because there was an agreement made between me and him that I would come on whenever I was happy, comfortable, and when I was feeling, when I wasn't tired, because for a while now I get tired, especially when I'm downstairs all day, doing lots of things, just the basic house chores that you would normally do, probably, and some others as well, which it's been going on for 4 years now. I mean, I still do daily chores regardless, but the responsibility has been definitely increased ever since I started caring for mum back in 2019. So this is the issue.
And this is what I always tell people. And there's several people out there at the moment which have got a lot going on in their lives. And you've got to have that balance between what you do on here and your personal life.
Precisely.
Because sometimes doing the two at the same time won't always work.
Yeah. And I get stressed out. I've been getting stressed out because of it.
We have an absolute blast on here.
Yeah.
And we're exactly the same when we're offline, as others will tell you. They've met us in person, and they know we're nothing different to what you see here. With the banter and having a giggle and the piss take.
Yeah.
And what have you. But not everybody's like that.
Yeah, you're right.
And they're the ones that need, as some people have done in the past, and I've done myself, just take a step back for a little while, prioritize things, and you'll find eventually it will entwine, but it takes slow increments to be able to do it, if you know what I mean.
The thing is, the reason why I did it suddenly, I thought this, part of my French, I thought this guy off suddenly, right? Well, if anything, he stopped messaging me, then he unblocked me on Facebook and Discord, and I didn't message him back on either, right? Usually I would message him back, but I didn't, right? But I'm not having someone using my tech knowledge right? And then try and backstab me and talk about me behind my back, saying that I'm useless and this and that. And by the way, he also knew that because he's known me for 7 years, right? And we've even met personally as well. He didn't like the fact that because I'm caring for my mom, he didn't like the fact that I wasn't coming on every single day, right? He wanted me to come on pretty much all the time. I said no. My mom is more important. My own health and myself is more important. I'm not going to prioritize a bloody game server on the computer who in effect it's not important, right? So I made that decision. I haven't messaged him. I'm not going to bother
Yeah.
because he's a waste of space in my opinion. I've seen
Remember
things that I don't want to
what I
see.
always said, mate. People will talk you on your back,
Yeah.
but that's fine because there's a reason they're behind you.
Yeah, precisely.
You just put them out of your head. Just don't even think about them.
Oh, precisely. Yeah. I mean, the thing for me is right. The thing that really kind of made me look at him different now was the fact, and he was just a friend, by the way. Well, was a friend in quotations, right? Or at least I thought he was a friend. But the only thing for me was the fact that when I met him personally, right, which was 3 years ago, I had seen unspeakable things that any family wouldn't want to do to their children, right? You would think that I mean there are parents still nowadays that would, if like you back chatted your parents, right, they'd probably give you a slap or something.
Thank you,
right?
Holly.
There are still parents that do that now. I'm not saying if I agree or disagree with it because it depends on the situation, but hitting a child is totally unacceptable. Like hitting, not slapping, which are two different things. I mean, you'd probably agree, that hitting a child is not it is a lot different than slapping your child, right?
Yeah.
And I witnessed that, and I didn't like it. I didn't say anything about it, and when I got home, I told my parents about it, and I said I will never go down there again. I never want to meet him again because I have seen his true colors, and over the years, I have seen his true colors more and more and more and more, and it's got to the point now where I'm just saying enough is enough. My parents have never hit me before. Yeah, they've slapped me, but that's even when we're younger. I mean, I still get a slap now and again anyway if I'm back chatting or doing something I shouldn't be. Never get hit. You
Yeah.
know, my
I mean,
mum's
there are
always said.
times. I mean,
Go on.
I've had it in the past for various reasons why you have to cut people out of your life. Whether you like them, enjoy them, no matter how you see them, there are occasions that arise where you just don't want them around you anymore. All you got to do, if they ask, is be honest with them and just say bye bye.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't even think about them. Don't talk about them.
Yeah.
Just bin them.
Do you know what the funny thing is as well, right? After that happened, I then got a message because obviously, I like it on Facebook now. Where if someone messages you that aren't a friend, it comes up as a message request, and you don't actually get a notification that they sent one. You have to actually look in your
Yeah, they're
messenger or
scams.
whatever.
They're scams.
Yeah, and it turns out that his girlfriend, had sent me a message. Well, several messages, threatening me and you know whatever, and it was laughable. I didn't respond because you don't want to stoop to their level, so I just looked at it and went haha, just deleted it, right?
Yeah, that's all you do. Delete it or report it.
But I have been certainly enjoying myself because the problem was I would, like you do, you stay up till late at night, right? Or even in the morning, and you won't go, and you'll maybe you'll go bed at like very early, not very early, like say between the middle, like say 3 or 6 o'clock in the morning, for example. I don't know what time you go to bed, but I'm
9 o'clock at night.
I will go up anything from 9 o'clock onwards. Sometimes I'll
Right.
sit here. I'll be either watching here or watching something on the TV, and I'll just feel my eyes starting to go, and I start yawning, and that to me says my body needs sleep. It needs rest.
Yeah.
So I'll go and get into bed. I might not sleep for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
I might lay there watching telly, but I'm resting. And more important in my case is relaxing my muscles because of the spasms. Eventually, I'll drop off, and then I'll probably wake up again at maybe 2, half 2, sometimes even 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm usually awake from then on. But what I do is I lay in bed quietly. I don't bother turning the telly on. Sometimes I might drift off for another hour or half an hour. But eventually my muscles wake up, they start tensing, and I can start feeling the cramps. And at that point, that's when I have to get up, start moving about, take my meds. And yeah, I might fall asleep in the middle of an afternoon. Once I've done the video, as you know, I usually try and answer comments as soon as they come in. The ones I get alerts for, or I can find anyway. But then I'll leave the comments alone for a couple of hours, and that's literally because I've put my chair back, put my feet up, and I've fallen asleep for an hour or so watching telly.
Yeah. See, I've been enjoying sleep recently because when I was talking to this person, I wouldn't be going because of how much development I was doing. I would wait until my dad gets home when he's not doing anything important, or my brother, let's say 6, 7 o'clock, maybe even earlier sometimes, and I'd be doing development relatively all night, and I'd go to bed at say 1, 2, maybe even 3 o'clock in the morning, and I usually have to be up, especially on a weekday, at around about 6 o'clock every morning, right? And anything less than 7 or 8 hours sleep is not good for you anyway, because your brain can't fully recover, if that makes any sense.
My brain's just always active, mate. That's
yeah. Well, with me anyway, it may be different for other people, but with me, I'm not necessarily in a good mood, or I don't get. If I don't get more than say 7 hours sleep, say 9 max. If I don't get more than 7 hours sleep, I feel shit. I feel crap. Feel groggy. I feel moody. All these different things, right? And this person.
Yeah, but you're still young, mate. Don't forget, I'm over 40 years older than you.
At our age, you get down to about 4 or 5.
See, I love my sleep. I do. I love my sleep. I never used to like my sleep when I was younger, but as I've grown up a bit, I love my sleep now.
When I'm on holiday, because obviously we stay literally 50 yards from the beach, and with being out in the fresh air, fishing and what have you, I sleep like a log. It's the only time of the year I do actually sleep like a log. And I think it's also because most of the time when we're there, I'm not on the internet. Yeah. Because we're either out fishing or, messing around somewhere. So I'm not on the internet. So that's another part of that. But yeah, I'll get up. I'll go and have a cup of coffee. I'll go outside and have a fag because we're not allowed to smoke in the cottages.
Yeah.
And I'll come back in and get back into bed for another couple of hours. Or I'll go for a walk down the beach and then get back into bed. It's like I turn my head off when we get up there to everything.
And I think that's part of what's happening now with Jack, because he's in a better place. He's not worrying about things, stressing about things. He's got a better sleep pattern going on. And
nice, Stuart.
It all helps.
Yeah.
But the thing is with me though, I am still going to bed at maybe 12 or 1 o'clock if I want to stay. And the only reason why I've been doing that, right, for a little while now is because when my dad or my brother gets home from work, right, sometimes it won't be till 6, 7, maybe sometimes 8 o'clock. And very rare occasions, like on a Friday or a Saturday, I won't go to I won't go.
Can you move that other thing, Jack, that's playing on there? That's doing my head in, keep flashing. I've stopped getting the stinging eyes and watering eyes as well.
Okay.
Because I went and got new bins that are just set for doing the computer, and that's all I use them for.
Yeah.
So I don't get those stinging tears and that in my eyes. Well, unless I'm laughing.
What was I talking about? I forgot. It's just gone right over my head.
Yeah, that happens to me, mate. It's always random on here, you know that.
Look, I've just been a lot of times I don't get a lot of time on the computer. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And the problem with me is if I go to bed at say 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, which by the way, when I'm a computer and when I'm that focused on something, like for example, the game development I've been doing, which I was going to show you guys in a minute, just have a little sneak peek.
Yeah, I wouldn't put anything like that up on here, mate.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not a techie channel, you know.
Fair enough. I don't. The time. It's like the time. Oh, what's that film? There's a Spy Kids All the Time in the World, where the time goes so fast, right? You just don't even know. You don't even know the time has changed, right? I look at the clock once. So the thing is, right, I've got that many clocks in my room, not like physical clocks on the wall, right? I've got like 1 or 2 clocks on each of my stream decks. 1 clock on my main monitor, 1 clock on my other monitor. You know, lots of clocks, so I can see them everywhere, and yet I still zone out, and I'm focusing on what I'm doing. And when I check the clock the next time, I'm like 4 or 5 hours ahead, and I'm like, "Where's the time gone?"
Yeah.
I don't get it. They say time flies by when you're having fun. That's what they say.
Well, that's the thing. When I was working, I never had enough hours in the day to do everything, and now I've got all the hours I want. I still can't do everything.
Yeah, but it's better than working and not having any time to do everything.
We got a lawn out there that's long enough now that I could probably bale it when I cut
it. Yeah, our grass needs to be cut again, but
I mean, I did my washing this morning. I hung the laundry out, looked out half hour later, and it was pissing down with rain. Where it can stay there now until it stops.
I've done pretty much everything. In fact, I did. Today was pretty all right because usually me and my brother argue because of the way that he likes to do the hoovering and mopping. Right, as basic as hoovering mopping can be, he likes it to be done a specific way, and so does Mum. Right, they both like it their way. I like it my way. Right. I'm not. There's no such word as perfect because you know you can't be perfect. You can try and be better than other people, but you know which you shouldn't always boast about. But I just try and get on with what I do. Right, my brother was asleep this morning, so I do everything: washing, drying, dishwasher, all the main things, hoovering, mopping. I got that done within about an hour. If I well, probably less. A lot quicker than what me and Jacob, my brother, would usually do it. We'd spend about 2 or 3 hours doing the hoovering and mopping, funnily enough, and that's hell to me. It's hell to me, you know.
Leave that funny stuff alone.
I do like to do chores. I do. I mean,
well, I'm going to change the subject now, Jack, because I've got something that everybody is talking about.
Okay.
The Russell Brand thing.
Oh, okay.
Now, whether he's guilty or not, he's already been tried by social media, which I think is wrong.
Yeah.
Because nothing has been proved.
That's right.
I said it in the video the other day. They did this with Johnny Depp, and look where that ended up.
Yeah.
But it's what's happening behind that, what they're covering. Now, we already know we've got the 2 bills they've snuck through. The energy bill and the online safety bill. They're just waiting for old Butterfingers to get back from France to try and put his moniker on them. Then they're passed through. Their law. The other one is, what have they covered up over what comes across the channel? Because there's hell up over that, and they're not saying a word about it now.
Yeah.
Braverman is absolutely avoiding the subject and just talking about the police, like Carnage is. And I've already said he's a waste of time with the committee he started up. That's going to end in tears.
What's if you don't mind me asking, because I haven't really read up on this stuff.
Yeah.
about the energy bill and about the online safety bill. What's
Right.
been
Well,
added
under
with
the
them?
energy bill, with some of the sections and clauses and everything in it,
Yeah,
you can actually be fined and jailed
yeah,
if your house isn't up to code with insulation, the proper heating system,
yeah,
if you refuse to comply with it,
yeah,
forcing smart meters and stuff like that.
yeah.
Now that will become law, and there's even prison sentences for some of it as well.
Right. Okay.
But everything he said yesterday contradicts that, because he said, no, we're not going to do that. But that
Mhm.
bill's already in place.
Yeah.
So technically, even though he said you don't have to insulate your house yet,
So rubbish. It's a load
if
of
they
rubbish.
want to turn around and say, well, it's in the bill, mate, it's law, well, you're off you cart, you know.
Yeah.
The online safety one,
Mm-hmm.
yes, as I've said before, and I've said many a time, what they're putting in there, or what they
Mm-hmm.
have put in there, bear in mind it went through with no amendments this time from the
Okay.
House of Lords or the Commons. They haven't changed any of it. Yeah, protecting women and kids, absolutely. Stopping some of the filth that gets online, absolutely. I'm 100% behind that. And I'm 100% this, hate speech if it's viable.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it is way off being called hate speech, but they class it as such.
Okay.
If it just stuck to that, which was what they used as a guise to start pushing it,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
But there's also in there, once it becomes law, that you could actually be ending up in prison for even standing up and doing a video saying you disagree with the government.
Sounds like communism to me.
Yep, censorship. You won't be allowed to talk about certain things. You won't be allowed to mention them. You won't be allowed to debate them, or even
Nowadays,
talk
it's less of a democracy. It's more of a
it's a dictatorship.
dictatorship. That's it.
Yeah. And once that's through, I mean, we've already seen Discord ripping down servers.
That's correct. Yeah.
I know of two.
Mm-hmm.
They're the only two others and Dan's that I go on. So I don't know if there's any others out there that have been pulled down. But including in that, they actually tore down the servers that the mods had that were on those channels. So if you were a mod on there, apparently you've had your server pulled down as well. So why they're doing that,
Yeah.
God knows. But you
Sounds
can
a bit-
guarantee
Sounds a bit fishy. That does.
Yeah, YouTube and the likes will abuse these extra powers.
Yeah.
And as I said right at the beginning, they're leaving the platform owners like Google, YouTube, well, Google own YouTube,
Yeah.
and Twitter and things, they're leaving them to police themselves. But if they see something that they're going to prosecute, it'll go through due course. The government are going to police the platforms, but they're going to police themselves as well, apparently. But it's only going to be bad news for us.
Ollie's just did you mean the
Private
accounts?
Private accounts.
Yeah, the accounts themselves as opposed to the servers and probably the accounts as well.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
No, that's what it is. Because as a mod, it's your personal account. So where the mods have lost their accounts, it's not their servers, it's their personal account.
Yeah.
So this is where I get lost in stuff.
You see, now, funny enough, actually, about a few years ago, I was part of a server, a Discord server that that wasn't particularly liked by Discord, right? And what happened was it got removed, it got banned, it got removed, right? And everyone that was in that Discord, even if people in there, if say half of the people, say it was 200 members, 100 people said things in there in channels that were either hate speech or anything that was against the terms of service or not, and then you got the other people, the other 100 that didn't say a single word, didn't even interact with anyone in the community in that server. everyone in that server would have got the same message. I got it. Basically, it's basically a warning from Discord to say that you're a part of a server that is either against that is going against the terms of service, the community guidelines, or whatever it's called, right? And if you
we
receive
know
another
they
one
could
of
use
these,
any bullshit excuse because nobody's got the money to take them to court.
yeah,
And I honestly think a lot of this would stop if someone had the money and stood up, had the bollocks, and said, "Right, I'm going to take you to court and fight this." I think there would be a big change, but nobody's had the balls and the bollocks to do it. The ones that have got the big money to be able to do something like that are the ones that own the fucking platforms. So, I mean, England, Rumble and Gab. Yeah, Rumble give the censors the big middle finger to the government and basically told them to go screw themselves, which is very admirable and absolutely agree with. But it is going to come once they've made it law. And as you know, other platforms of, sorry, I only get alerts on my laptop. So that was an alert coming for something else. They are on about even leaving Europe and the UK if they're going to carry on pushing this on them. I won't use them. I never have. I have got a BitChute account. I haven't posted on it for about 2 years. In fact, it reminded me the other day that it's the 2-year anniversary of my page on there, my channel. I've got another one on here as well. I've got 2 channels on here. The other one only got used when I got videos pulled down off here. I posted them over there on BitChute.
Yeah.
So while I was on my bands here in YouTube jail, I could still put content out. The rules on that have changed now. Apparently, I have only seen it done once, but if they pull one channel down for an offence or you get a ban or a suspension, it applies to both your channels. Any channels you've got, you will have suspended. So you can't go to a backup channel like I did, as it were.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say, so it was actually last year. I was in a Discord server that Discord didn't particularly like, and they basically said your account is receiving this note. They didn't suspend my account. It just says your account is receiving this notice due to participation in a server that violates our community guidelines. I won't read over that because it says people who protect things allows or encourages content that glorifies, promotes, or calls for physical or sexual violence against individuals or communities. Please be aware of the purposes of the service you join. If servers you're in are posting content or engaging in behavior, basically to say that you should report it and then leave. Otherwise, there may be situations where we take action on your account in the future. Sincerely, Discord Trust and Safety.
Jack, did you name the channel?
What?
Did that message name the channel?
No. What happened was I know what Discord. I know.
But it's telling you you're part of you should report this channel. But if you're part of 10 channels,
yes, it does. Yes, it says specifically people who've been protecting jail. That's the Discord server name. Yeah. Basically, they were basically the owners of the server were changing the name because what they were doing was against the YouTube's terms of service, and if they use certain words or phrases in the Discord server, then it would immediately get banned anyway. And every single time the owners, what the owners did is they had to make several alternative accounts for Discord because their main ones would get banned. Every time they made a server and it got removed, it'd get banned. So,
well, it's got worse. I mean,
oh yeah, definitely.
English said he's had comments removed. Yeah, I mean, we had them in here last week. There was a couple of comments went missing. Caractacus, good afternoon. They're all, and I don't know why they're doing it because the comments, there's nothing wrong with them. You know, I mean, I've had comments removed on my videos, not on the live, that was just a thumbs up, respects Roger. And that comment will be removed or hidden.
Alec, I don't I mean, it's hard to not believe that, though. I'm not saying that you may be wrong, but it's hard to believe that YouTube won't censor comments.
Yeah, Alex,
It's hard to
they
believe
do,
that.
mate. They do. Believe me. They either move them or they hide them. If you've got a channel, there are set. I won't mention on here because I got messed up with a little route that I had to see the comments that removed, so I could answer them. But due to circumstances beyond my control, that got divulged to YouTube on a live, or might have been in a video one day, and they actually jumped on it. So I know that they do remove them.
Yeah.
Don't forget, mods and channel owners or creators do have access to other stuff that other people haven't. We can see a lot more what goes on in the background. Well, in most cases, not with my technical ability. I can get to a certain level through it.
Rob wants some tech advice.
Rob wants some tech advice. What's up, mate?
Yeah, I'm already on it. I'm already having a look.
Okay.
I didn't really want to. I was just about to say I didn't really want you to read it out because I know that you don't really understand the jargon, and that's fine. I'm just having a look.
Yeah, in case you hadn't seen it.
No, I already read it. I was going to say
Jack's
something
like
about
me.
it.
He's got screens all over the place in
there. Okay, so it is a recent. It's pretty recent then, Rob. So it's not like an old CPU. Obviously, has it got in? I think it's got integrated graphics. It should do. Yeah.
Yes, Jason. They should be doing more, mate. A lot more.
Well, let's have a look because
Alec, the only people that ain't got integrity is that shit shower in the House of Power. They got no fucking morals either. They proved that time and time again.
Rob, quick question for you. Do you not have a graphics card? Do you only have a CPU? If you only have a CPU, just let me know, yeah. Because the Vega 11 that you're talking about is a CPU. It's a onboard. It's basically like the equivalent of the Intel onboard graphics on your CPU, but it's for AMD. They have onboard graphics on most of their CPUs as well. I don't think it's a graphics card. I just looked it up and it's a CPU. If it is a CPU, then I'll be able to find out more information. If you've only got that, then I'll just work with that.
I'm just going to answer a question there.
That's
Jack.
fine. You go do that.
English, yes, they are suspending people that they don't like. They won't give a reason if you complain. All they'll say is you broke community guidelines and you are suspended for 12 hours, 24 hours from commenting. It's a pain in the ass, but they class it as a warning, apparently. So they get away with it. It's just another way they harass people. And we know that's what they're doing, and we know they're doing it because they know they can get away with it. Personally, when they do it to me, I get this vision in my head of this spotty little fucking purple-haired herbivore sat at a desk with a tissue, giving it the fucking job to it all because he's you know, they must have waste baskets full of sticky tissues for the side of their computers, you know. But that's what I think of when they do it because it just makes me laugh. It shows them up for the clowns they are, really.
Yeah.
You know, they're like school kids. They're like school kids. You said something nasty, I'm going to throw something at you. You know.
I'm just having a look now, Rob. Sorry if it's just taking a little bit longer. I don't have.
But that is nothing new. They've been doing it for ages discreetly. It's only when people realised that they were starting to actually censor things. There are a lot of problems with the platform. Personally, I think they've lost control of it. They can't cope with it all. But that's what I like to think. What is this language? Yeah, it's called techno jargon in England. It's something I'm strange to. Sorry, Jack.
No, it's okay. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm just talking to Rob. I'm just trying to find something out for him.
If you do need tech advice, Rob, Jack is in Dan's Discord server. And he quite often does a VC to help people out in there that needs it when they need it. In fact, there's several people in there that would always jump in and help if you needed advice on it. The only thing YouTube are trying to do with our backs, Jorge, is stick fucking knives in them, mate. they want us, people like me, gone. Because I don't follow the narrative. I never will. And as long as I can have a voice, I will speak up against it. I'd say I won't go on other platforms, but if need be, absolutely I will. And I'll learn how to use them.
So
But that's what they're trying to do. They want to shut people like me down, even with the amount of people I've got in here. I've only got, I'm under 600 subs, I think it is. Or is it 500? I can't remember now. I'm happy with that, but even YouTube don't like that. You wouldn't think they'd bother with a little channel like mine.
458.
But when you've got, we've lost one. Bye. But when you've got a channel with 40, 50, 60, 70,000 subscribers, they're the ones that they look at a bit more. But I would have thought they'd have left me alone, but apparently not.
Just not to clog up your channel. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask Rob. So if you want to ask any other questions, just going to ask Rob what his CPU is.
No worries. All right, Rob. What a Discord server. Missy, neither did I. But it is quite a good way of communicating, although there is censorship interference now. But you've got your video calling on there, personal messaging, and whatever the server owner, whoever's chat server it is, you can put several other things in there as well to promote videos and
like using AOL.
YouTube is so helpful.
AOL is very, very old, Heather.
Yeah, but anybody our age that ever used AOL, Discord is the same sort of thing. That you've got your chat room, you've got your communities, you've got your yeah. How do you describe what it is to somebody that doesn't know? It's a bit like using AOL. You're
taking me back now because I remember MSN when that was about, before Skype was a thing, before they changed it into Skype. Oh, that was amazing.
Jack, I remember things from before your mother was thinking about having you.
Yeah.
Alec, do you know what MCN means to me? Motorcycle news. It's a paper.
Alec, I'm aware what CPU means. I'm aware what it stands for.
Oh, hey, Jack is very good on the old tech, mate. If you know anything about it, he'll know more. Guarantee it.
What, Alec?
Please see. Yeah, the algorithms. It's mainly the bots, England. A lot of the comments will get removed by bots. If you notice, for those of you that post videos on YouTube, you get that bit at the end of processing and upload of check-in. Now, I have noticed that sometimes that will stall. It'll say there's 5 minutes left, and then all of a sudden it jumps back to 8 minutes left. Well, I've since found out, or I've been told, so don't take this as genuine information, but I've been told that if there's something that the bots have picked up in the video, they will flag that to a human operator if the bot's unsure about it, as it were. And then what they do is they stall it where a human operator finds a few seconds or minutes to go back and watch that section, and then it will carry on doing its checks afterwards. And that's why sometimes it takes a bit longer, or in my case, allegedly. Rob says yes. Yeah, I've had it. I've had 10-minute check-in on there on a 10-minute video go on for over 20 minutes. And it'll quite often come up as your check is being looked at or whatever. So they do humanly check them now, where they never used to do a lot of it. They're doing a lot more. But yeah, it's been going on ever since I've been on YouTube. I mean, I was getting comments removed before I even started my channel. So, and we have got a subscriber. He's not in here at the moment, or at least I haven't seen his name come up. He was actually banned or was blocked from making comments on any lives. He didn't get alerts. Every comment he tried to post was rejected or removed. He had, how many profiles did he go through?
Half a dozen.
He went through at least half a dozen different profiles to get around it and get comments in, but they kept catching up with him. But he's absolutely fine now. The one he's got now, he's had for some time. Yeah, he still gets comments removed for no apparent reason, but then we all do. That's not a personal thing they've done to him on that. But that's just the way they operate. Just the way they operate. I laugh at it. I really do, because some of the things they do is just so pathetic.
Well, when I got my comments deleted for using the wrong emoji,
yeah,
it gave me the opportunity to use that emoji on my phone, so I put it in. And then it says, that's not a standard YouTube emoji. You can't use that in your comment.
Hey, Stitch.
They deleted it. I did see, sorry, Stitch, I did see you drop in earlier, darling. Sorry, I forgot to mention you. But what's the weather like everywhere around the country anyway?
Where's it like? Okay, hold on. Where is it?
Well, I've heard there's been bloody high winds and storms again.
It's sunny and cloudy. It's 14 degrees at the moment where I am, it says.
Yeah, we got cloud, but oh well. But don't forget, there's a new heat wave coming. It starts on the 2nd of October and finishes on the 10th, apparently. That's if you believe the Met Office. They already gave out an amber warning for it underhandedly the other day. Storms and rain. Ooh. But why is it we've got all these floods this week everywhere around the country and it hasn't rained that bloody much? I know. Yeah, it's definitely cooler, bittersweet. It's the temperature has dropped down here somewhat drastically over the last few stages.
Degrees outside.
For those of you that notice, I don't always check who comes up out of the back room. That is simply because I even recognises the backgrounds and the reactions in there, so I know who they are.
I was going to ask you about that earlier, like why you just brought me straight on without just.
No, I literally, even when I do that, Jack, when I know it's you, like, you know, I can see your background and your reactions, same as I do with Paul. I've always got the cursor over the remove button, just in case.
I'm back on. I'm back on again.
It's something we've got to do now. There's that many fucking idiots out there.
Fair enough.
I don't think
it's yeah. And then again with the live on Sunday. At the moment, there is going to be one as usual. It will be a public one, I think. But that is subject to change depending on how he's going with his health. If he's that knackered and he needs to sleep, then there won't be one. But at the moment, the plan is to have a live Sunday night. So keep your eyes open for that one. But
still alcohol free.
And he's still alcohol free. Yes, absolutely. He's done really, really well at that.
Yeah.
He's only got about another 14 years to go to catch up with me, but But there again, in those years when I did drink, I probably made up for what I've missed before I
I was
stopped.
going to say,
Also, I keep saying about maturing on age.
I enjoyed a pint, but I also enjoyed a JD with it, and that was a bit of an issue at times.
I can respect that. Jack, Nathan's asking about you there. He's never spoke to you before, but he's in the background. He's seen you on Danny's quite a few times, and I just want a quick shout hello over to you there, by the way. Roger, thanks for having me on again. Sorry,
No problem, mate. No problem. Hi, Nathan, by the way.
Roger's shouting at you.
All right, Roger.
Yeah, not too bad, matey.
He's over there cooking a spike ball there at the moment, so he's part of that chef.
Getting a new Xbox. Yeah, but it's if we're going to have the power to run them, Rob, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I know you're not particularly interested in gaming stuff, Roger, but with this new GTA 6 that's coming out at some point, whether it be next year or the year after, right? There was lots of rumors by several leakers, which is actually been debunked that isn't the case now, that GTA 6 will be 750 gigabytes of installed disk space, and it'll be about $150, which is about what, maybe 130, 120 quid, something like that, probably more, right? That's what the rumor was, but that much for a game, we don't believe that. I doubt it would be that anyway. And people, and the thing is, with it,
I turned up on the doorstep and said, "Here you go, go away." I don't want it.
Xboxes, the new Xboxes and the new PlayStation, it wouldn't even be able to run, not run it. It wouldn't even be able to install it. You'd have to buy an external hard drive or SSD just to even run the bloody thing, just to even install it, because of how well, not only how expensive it is, but also what you've got to get to play it. But I doubt it will be that anyway. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm certainly looking forward to the game because it's that hyped up. But I certainly won't be pre-ordering games anymore because the last time I pre-ordered a game, it flopped, and they received so much negativity and so much hatred on it, and I haven't played it since. So I'm simple, you know. It's not going to bother.
Who else we've got dropped in there now? Smiler, good afternoon. Sorry, Jack, I'm just catching up with the chat.
No, it's okay.
I don't know what happened there. I just walked out into the kitchen with an empty Coke can and come back with the bastard.
Drugs don't work. Right.
Total head fire there for a minute.
Maybe Heather hypnotized you and she told you to come back in with the Coke can in your end.
Honestly, mate, it's a privilege of old age of walking into a room and not remembering what you're going in there for.
Yeah.
I do that a lot out in Amsterdam.
Yeah. I don't need any extra help with doing that. I'll get up in the morning and go to the bathroom and think, what the fuck did I come in here for?
Don't.
I have to see you over here too.
The chat's had a sour turn, but
right, guys. I don't know what's been going on in the chat there. I haven't been watching a lot of it, but as I said earlier, stops here or you'll be off. Simple as that. I don't play messing around in this channel.
That's all right, Rob. That's all right, Rob. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Roger.
No, it's all right, buddy.
We know Holly can deal. I'm
yeah, Holly is one of the top mods on YouTube. So, guys, she has my permission to do anything she wants in there, and believe me, she will do it. Sorry, Jack. Yeah,
no, it's okay.
Like I said, the one and only game I ever played was that ping pong fucking tennis thing on a, I don't know, Sega or whatever it was called.
Yeah,
and that was on the black and white TV.
I think you know where the joke's going to come, but that must have been years ago.
don't
Well,
even- it wasn't a Sega because the name didn't exist. Back
no,
then.
I don't. It was Aga or something weird.
No.
I can't remember what it was called. Fuck me,
You'll have
that's
to Google
going
it.
back over 50 years. That is.
Lost
I
will
did,
turn us into a frog.
I did. Interestingly enough, when I was flying the model planes, one of them came with a CD, and I thought, "Oh, load it up and see what it says," because yeah, it was mainly in Chinese and what have you. But
Yeah.
tucked right in the corner of it was an online flight simulator where
Mhm.
you could load into your computer
Mm.
and fly a virtual plane using the keyboards, which was great fun because you could reverse everything on it so the fucking thing would crash, and you could crash any amount of times and you knew it would be back up again in a few seconds. But then I noticed that it had off-road buggies on there, helicopters, and it was amazing. But to me, it wasn't a computer game. You know, it was just having a bit of fun on my own, like taking the piss out of myself.
Yeah.
But Atari,
Yeah, that's right.
that was it. Well done, darling. I knew it was 4 letters.
Funny enough, I actually have played
5.
some Atari.
Not
I
that
have
Atari. Yeah,
I have
Clarence,
played
cross
some.
my line.
I have played some Atari games, using an emulator on my computer because we've got the technology to do that now, so we can play like Atari games, PlayStation games, whether it's PlayStation 1, 2, 3, whatever. Could do all that now, and use an emulator on a
This
computer.
is where the youth of today are lost, mate.
Yeah.
If someone asked us if we were going to go around and play a game, it meant a game of football, a game of tennis, against a game of cowboys and Indians up the woods. In later years, a game was chase each other over miles of fields with fucking motorbikes. And oh, what are you?
Hold on. I have to do that just so you can see him.
No, he's obviously at Nathan's or at home, and his signal there is terrible.
No, it's all right. It was just funny.
No, I just looked. I thought, has he frozen?
Imagine having to look like that the entire time, just walking around. Hello.
Jack, it was over 15, at least over 15, if not years ago, if not a lot longer.
Probably, yeah, you're right.
I was using a PC emulator to play Commodore 64 games on my computer.
I think Mum actually had some games on her yeah, I think she did. She had some very old games on her computer.
Yeah, I used to. There was one game I never finished, so I loaded it and played it, and I still couldn't finish it.
Well, my first experience of the internet was Heather taught me how to use eBay.
Okay.
Literally because I was building custom mountain bikes.
Right.
And a lot of people wanted to do it on the cheap. So what I used to do was go on there every sort of season when everybody was upgrading to the new parts. Now, in the mountain bike world, it's a bit slower than the computers and that, but you'd get 2 or 3 upgrades through a year, like a better gear system would come out, better brakes. Now, you don't even need all the new upgrades. It's for what I used to call the bike charts. If it's new, they've got to have it.
Yeah.
If it's pretty coloured, they've got to have it. And the people that do this are the ones that don't really care what they pay. So they'll sell their old parts they took off, which in some cases are less than a month old.
Yeah.
And they'll sell them for peanuts on eBay. So I used to go and buy loads and loads of parts. Someone would say, oh, I want a mountain bike. I want this spec. I want that on it. I want it to be able to do this. If they've got a frame themselves that they want, I'd use that as a base. If not, I'd find them a frame they want. And I would build a custom mountain bike out of second-hand parts. So you could end up with a real good mountain bike that's still in favour, just got a few older parts on it, a few months old. But you'd buy that, I'd build that for 300-400 quid, whereas a new one 6 months ago would have cost them nearly 2.5 grand at the time.
I'm listening, sorry.
You're looking at 10-15 grand for a top mountain bike, downhill bike now.
Yeah.
I mean, my mate at the time, the Nuke Proof was, I think it was just around the 3 grand mark, and he wanted a new one. So I got online, and rather than build secondhand because he specified new, I found him one for, I think it was about 1,700 quid, brand new at a shop down in Somerset. Literally because he wanted an extra large frame because he's a good 6 foot plus.
Yeah.
And most people don't like the big frames. So
No.
I was able to find one that had been reduced. So he went down there on a road trip and bought it. But that was my main use of the internet, was ordering bike parts. And everything progressed from there. Going on YouTube, watching YouTube, getting involved with channels.
Ordering bits for your computer.
Ordering bits for the computer, and then once I learned how to use them.
And then get awfully sour.
Mate, when you get to my age, the only thing you have sat next to you is a tube of Germaline. And when you get to a certain age, a tube of glue for your false teeth. No, I keep that there. When I nip outside, I'm quite susceptible now. Now I've stopped working outside to insect bites, because with the blood problems, they get infected very, very quickly. So if I get bitten, then I have to get something on it straight away, either an antihistamine or, I mean, I've even got the old cooling spray, because I've had some bad reactions over the last couple of years. To the point,
matron. He just got called matron. Oh my god, what is going on in the chat?
I don't know. I've been
no, I've been watching the chat. I've been listening to what you've been saying, but I've just
Holly isn't as tolerant as I am.
Just letting Holly do her thing. Let Holly do her thing.
Oh,
you know?
Once the angry murder midget gets loose, there's no stopping her.
I swear, one time she was called an evil witch when she's the opposite.
Oh yeah.
No. Not by me. Not by. I wouldn't.
No. I remember when.
Yeah, you remember who called you that, didn't you?
Several people have made the mistake of getting the wrong side of her when she's got a spanner.
Yeah. Oh. The thing is, as well, is when she gets called a witch now, she thinks of it as a compliment as opposed to an insult.
Well, the thing is,
I don't see her as a witch, though.
You know, obviously we've left events of the past, recent past, way behind us at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're not as tolerant on Dan's anymore either.
Are you not?
No. We've been slowly cleaning up in there.
Okay.
Getting rid of dead wood and such.
I haven't noticed, because to be honest, I've not been there a lot. So
no, because people were getting thrown off other channels left, right, and centre. There was okay then, Holly. Yeah, you know how to react to that, sweetheart. Do it. You know the crack here.
What the hell happened to... Oh,
Paul's back.
Sorry, I'm going to turn the camera off and hopefully that will
just leak it.
Stay on.
I know you have signal problems there, mate. Oh, she is Smiler, and she has my complete trust and backing no matter what she does in here. If I could learn how to do it, I'd give her control in StreamYard as well, like Dan does. But it's great when you've got people like that around you, because with me, I lose focus on the chat when I'm talking onto the camera, as it were.
Yeah.
But no, Holly's one of the best mods out there, as far as I'm concerned. She always has been.
She smashes modding right out the park.
No, she's having quite a good day today, Jorge, because you're still there, mate.
Yeah. I've known Holly since
you might think you're having fun in here. Believe me, the mods can have a hell of a lot more.
I think I've been a part of Dan's channel for about, I think, a year, almost 2 years now. Almost, I think either one, right? And ever since I saw Holly, she's always been she's always been happy. But whenever people piss her off and it gets too much, she'll do the right thing and she'll get rid of the people or the person that she needs to get rid of.
You give them enough rope.
Yeah,
as I say, those guys, they've been having a whale of a time between them in the chat the last few weeks. And I was going to say today, look, if you just want to talk between yourselves, then go in a Discord or somewhere and do it rather than cluttering up the chat, as it were.
Yeah.
But no, there's something we've been suspected for a while, and Holly's just confirmed it. So
well, I didn't particularly like the fact that a certain individual on this live stream that was kind of taking a piss because I was trying to help Rob out. But Holly dealt with that anyway. So
don't worry about it, mate.
To hang themselves, you can then let them
yeah. Well,
it's there's people like that out there, as we know. People have got different issues, different problems.
Yeah.
But
they shouldn't bring it onto other people's channels.
Exactly.
Very, very simple.
Like I've always said, if you get what we used to call a troll, they've always got quite a good following because people seem to tag on to them. Now, rather than go and annoying anybody else, if they open their own channel, they would probably get way more views than me, to the point where they could monetize if they want. You know?
Cool executioner. I like that.
What was that one?
Lost Souls, Holly just said they don't call me the cult executioner for
Was you trying to say something there, Paul? Sorry, mate.
Oh, sorry, no, I was talking to Nathan there.
Oh, no worries. I just
got...
When you talk, your avatar moves, obviously, and I could see it move, and I just thought you were trying to say something there. Yeah, his audio's still breaking up a little bit, I think. But yeah, Stitch, as you know, we've got a cult leader, we got the executioner, we got the Grand Wizard on the.
Who's the jury then? Who's the juror? Who's the juror? If you've got the judge, you got the.
That's all of us together. We're like a committee. And we've never had a hung jury either.
Yeah, what we do is, right, we get a picture of Holly, right? You get a picture of Holly, and then literally next to it, we just have cult executioner. Just put it on a t-shirt.
Well, what Holly does is when she's not online doing things like this, you know, you'll be there watching a live, there's no Holly, and all of a sudden you'll like this. Well, that's her sat there with her little dolls with these big hat pins.
That reminds me, actually. That reminded me, actually, of something that I remember that Dan either did in a live stream once, or posted a video in the past about these dolls that are in this business. I don't know if it was I'm not sure if it was a pub or what. They had these dolls on a shelf, right? And they didn't mean anything specifically, but people reporting these types of dolls to be, I don't know what type of agenda they were claiming it was to do with, would be some sort of cult or whatever. But the police, if I remember correctly, the police went in and seized them. Someone made a report and called the police that these dolls or whatever these dolls were found in a business. It's a very, very long while back. I can't remember when. I can't remember what video it was or what live stream what that Dan did, but and they took all of their belongings, including these dolls and other things that had no what's the word, that had no relevance, to the report or anything. Voodoo dolls, that was it. Voodoo dolls,
can I
yes.
just jump in there, Jack? Sorry.
Hollywood
Sons
dolls.
of Liberty, whoever you are, I don't know. I haven't seen you before. Don't criticise the moderators in here. Actually, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Being as we've got people going on, if you feel hurt by it, then feel free to leave. It's not an issue. But we deal with our channels in our way. If people like the way we deal with it, they stay and have fun. If they don't
like it, you know where the door is.
And if they start carrying on and creating in the chat, then they're forced to leave. Simple as, mate. Yeah. We make the decisions. That's it. End of.
Yeah, precisely. And the thing is, as well, is I've already had enough of, especially recently, I've already had enough of people taking the piss out of me, or what was it?
Either people you're still breaking up there, Paul. It's making horrible noises, and they've to here. I'll turn that one off.
Right.
All right, mate.
How's that there?
There's some horrible noises coming in there.
Right.
I'm so glad my headphones aren't loud. Because...
Okay, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does have issues with his signal and that there. Sorry about that, Jack.
No, it's okay. I was just simply going to say, you know, I've had enough, especially recently. I've had enough shit from other people, you know, talking about me behind my back.
Sorry, Jack. Sons of Liberty. You were actually warned by me just now. Don't carry on about it. They may have been subscribers for a long time, and they've only been fun for a couple of weeks because that was the first time we've seen them. If you want to carry on, what the fuck is going on there? I've lost all. No, I've just lost YouTube chat.
Do you pop it out like Dan does?
No, hang on.
He'll find it.
Okay.
It was like it just got fucking pulled down.
Okay, because as Dan ever said, that what he does is he pops the chat out of the live stream dashboard, doesn't he? And that way he can see the chat. So it's real time as opposed to looking at the chat and StreamYard. Or do you look at the chat and StreamYard?
Right, hang on. I look at the chat on YouTube, which I've now got back. Let's just
that's good then.
Chat. But the whole bloody thing disappeared then. Rob, yeah, you can still post, mate. Can you not post about the doll that you were on about just then? I do know for a fact that is a trigger word, mate. Sorry.
Is it?
I'm not warning you or anything. I'm just saying don't use that one, please.
What does YouTube censor you for that or whatever?
Yeah. The little doll that used to be on the jam jar, I'll say.
Right, okay. Really?
Yes.
That's what I was referring about, the way when Dan did a video on it, or he
they had a collection of them, didn't they?
That's right. Yeah.
Sorry, Rob, I didn't mean anything by it, mate. It's
the word that used to be a common expression when followed by wow me. It was oh gosh. And the other one, that one.
Yeah, no worries, Rob. Sorry, Jack. I was just letting it because obviously.
No, it's okay. Don't apologise.
Between us here on StreamYard and the rest of the guys on YouTube.
I don't see why people need to complain or cause issues. They know it's your channel. They know the rules. They get one warning, as you know, as Dan also does as well. And or even sometimes they'll get another warning out of courtesy, but most of the time it's one warning and then they'll get removed. So,
yeah, well, that's Sons of Liberty gone as well, because I've just told him twice, don't carry on. and he's still trying to get a reaction. So you got a reaction, deal with it.
Yeah. Well, well, here's the thing. The reaction is there is no reaction because he's off the face of your channel.
After over 60 years of dealing with fucking idiots in this world, I don't need it at this time.
No, yeah, exactly.
I run these lives for a bit of a giggle. Yeah, sometimes we do discuss.
By the channel owner. Do you know what? You crack me up, Holler.
Oh, you want to see it when I'm in a pub, even when I'm not drinking, mate, when we go up to Liverpool and that.
Speaking of, how was because obviously I know Dan didn't do a get together live stream
No, we were having a real good time actually. It was small again.
Was it?
But we had another new one drop in that we hadn't seen before.
Okay.
He might be in here in the background watching. Moo, if you're there, mate. Nice to have met you that night for the first time.
And how Ricky was there.
And Ricky dropped in as well. Unfortunately, I think he did get arrested later in the evening or earlier the next morning.
Why? Is it because he was that drunk?
I don't think he was actually drunk. I think a copper said so much to him and Ricky gave him a godful, so they decided to bang him up for the night.
Oh, okay.
But no, he is there. Welcome, Moo. We had a great time, mate. It was, there was a bit of food chucked on the table at one point as well. Not literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, same as last year. It was brilliant. I got a speeding ticket going up, but that's my fault, my responsibility.
Shouldn't have been in such a rush.
Yeah, I was in such a rush to get there.
Which reminds me as well, your car.
Well, it was a bit more enjoyable this year because we actually stayed overnight.
That's right, you did.
We stayed in a hotel. Whereas
said it was shit,
last year we left it about, I think it was 10:30 because it was, a couple of hour drive back, like.
Mm-hmm.
But and we.
If I'm right in saying, didn't you say the hotel was shit? In my words.
To be honest, I retract a lot of it.
Right. Okay.
The standard inside the hotel, except for the bathroom door that wouldn't shut, was quite good.
Right. Okay.
But for what they were. We had absolutely no view out the window other than a building site.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't pay for a view.
But we didn't pay for a view. And to be honest, it was the only room they had left.
Yeah.
Because there was a water sports competition on that weekend there, jet skis and the like.
Right.
And it's actually on the edge of a lake. So they were going to be full. There was, tents all around as well in the fields, local. And we were actually lucky to get the room. I felt it was a bit overpriced for what we used it for.
Yeah.
But there was other things we could have done within what we paid and we just didn't use,
Should have just bought a tent.
Yeah. But it was somewhere to go and crash.
Fair enough. Well, like you said,
it didn't matter because I don't drink, so I was always driving anyway.
Well, like you said, anyway, you said it would probably be better stay in a hotel or staying somewhere for the night instead of going back, because in that way you're not going to be tired on the way back.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Because obviously that's dangerous. Things can happen.
Especially
and you're more likely to get involved in a crash. You're impaired. You're impaired.
So I've literally got about 3 or 4 minutes if it hits when I'm driving. It never has, because I'm always very awake when I'm driving. Yeah. I always make sure of that.
But it would mean we could stay later at the party.
Yeah, exactly. I could stay later because I wasn't, even if I did feel tired, we still had time to get back to the hotel.
Precisely. It's not like you're just going to drop down and go.
Oh, I would.
I'd have just left him for 10 minutes and then he'd have been fine.
No, he'd probably be on the floor sleeping with his mouth open, eating flies.
Well, the worst one was Nuki, which I'd mentioned before, was me out for a night after not seeing my buddies for a while, drinking on a free beer weekend because nobody would let us pay for a drink, being carried back to the hotel we were staying at by Heather. And I don't mean over the shoulder or anything like that. I mean under the arm, dragging.
That must have been fun, Heather.
Even the doorman at the hotel give me shit when I came down in the morning.
But who out of the two of us had more to drink than the other?
Yeah, you drunk more than me that night, yeah.
Wow, I have no words.
I was like, I'm on home territory. I know all the late night drinking holes, and that was the worst fucking mistake I ever made.
I got some respect out of those guys because I could outdrink him and I had to make sure he got back to the hotel.
Well, you outdrunk most of them as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so funny. I mean, I crawled out the lift in the morning to go out and have a fag. And the doorman just looked at me and he said, "You look like shit." I said, "I feel like it." He said, "Good." He said, "You bloody deserve it." He said, "But it did give me a laugh watching the missus drag you in here last night."
That must have been a pretty good sight to see.
Oh, I'm just glad a lot of the lads didn't see it.
Do you know, I would have wanted to be there to see that.
I'd never have lived it down, believe me.
Would it be funny if someone had recorded it and then sent it to you? That would have been even worse.
I'll tell you what, the state of them, most of them, they wouldn't have been able to use a phone anyway.
Yeah.
It just literally, I told one person we were coming down for a weekend for a visit.
Yeah.
And we were at the pub, less than half an hour, weren't we? When we got there was already 15, 20 people waiting for me.
I was going to say.
Within half an hour, the bloody pub was full. We were spilled out on the pavement outside into the benched area out there. Oh, yeah, Psycho's down for the weekend. Whoosh.
It's easy to sit outside because you could just sit and smoke.
Yeah. And it was nice because there were guys that wouldn't normally come out to a pub for an evening. And they were turning up just for an hour, just to pop in, buy a drink, say hello, have a chat. You know.
Even the friendly ambulance man stopped to say hello.
We even had the paramedics pull up outside because the driver was another doorman. He was a mate of mine. So he pulled up outside the pub with the ambulance to drop in and say hello. Oh, it was hilarious.
I know.
But that's what it was like down there then. It was, I mean, you talk about a community. In Nuki itself, there was probably half a dozen little communities, as it were.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I mean, everything from community of drug dealers, you know the sort of thing I mean.
Yeah.
But when it came to it, when all the Emmets, as we used to call them, the visitors go home, they all came together. They all knew each other. Yeah, there was little disagreements, but it was back to being their town then. You know what I mean? All the coffin dodgers turned up and they were too frightened to come to the pubs, most of them anyway, so for the tinsel and turkey.
I just want to say one thing. It's just something random. I just had a quick look for no reason. I don't know how long I've had my channel for, but for however long I've had my channel, I've finally reached 101 subscribers.
Nice one, mate. I'll tell you what, I just had to pull there, Jack. Sorry. Yeah, no worries, mate. We know your signals and things are all over the bloody place there. But cheers for dropping in, bud. You're always welcome.
You take care, Paul.
We've got another one open on StreamYard, I think. Yeah, you still got one in backstage there that's not working.
You can always remove him from the stream. That way, It's not.
No,
Oh.
I can remove it, but it means actually removing him. Oh, kick from the studio.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
There you go.
Because he's probably that was probably on his phone. I don't know. Could have been on his phone or whatever. So or
But
his
it's easy.
computer.
You
So
can see you can get rid of it. Saves him messy.
yeah, exactly. But I just wanted to say as well while I was at it.
That's it. Yeah, thank you.
Check now.
See, simple instructions. I can do it.
You're 43 subscribers away from reaching 500.
43.
Yeah, 43.
I was only 2 this morning.
No, you weren't. 438. You were 439 earlier.
Was it?
Yes, darling.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
no worries, Paul.
You are 43 subscribers away, and I have my main goal on YouTube is to reach 100 subscribers. I haven't had a bigger goal past that, so but I don't know how long it will last before people unsubscribe.
Put it this way, mate. It's took me nearly 3 years to get to what you can see there now.
yeah.
But that's I don't mind. I'd
Yeah.
rather have a small community of like-minded people than a huge channel with a load of idiots in there. You know, I mean, very, very rarely. I mean, this week, yeah, I've had a couple of videos go to
Take care, Paul.
Over 100 viewings.
Yeah.
Which is very rare for me, but it's very nice to see because it is opening a few more eyes, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I don't. It doesn't really worry me. I mean, I've got one video that has topped 1,000. And that was from 2-3 years ago, and it was a bloody fishing video.
6 years ago, I made a video when my computer wasn't as good, nowhere near as good, and over the years, I've actually checked. I have over 10,000 views on that one video alone. I've never been able to get any more or anywhere near not even 10% of that on any video. So
well, the other thing that yours are probably all gaming and that, aren't they?
Gaming and tech stuff, basically.
So you'll be quite safe. Now, people like me, once this new bill is law, YouTube could, and they have done this in the past, because some of the videos in the backlog don't conform with the new laws, they will retrospectively, fucking hell, I said that right.
For a change.
Retrospectively go back and remove those videos from your playlist.
So you couldn't do it twice.
Because they don't conform with the new rules. That they've done it to other people. They'll go back and say, oh, that was said a year ago. That doesn't conform to the policy rules now. Right, remove it. And they have done that before. They've gone through people's backlogs of video and removed videos. And that's one of the reasons why all my videos that I put on YouTube, I copy onto an external hard drive.
Right.
Because when I started doing them, there was no titles, there was no openings. I didn't know what I was doing. So I've had to list them all by date, which is fine.
Yeah.
But they're all on a big hard drive, and it's like a video diary.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, because at one point I was doing them every day, 6-7 days a week sometimes. Right from the beginning of the shit that happened back in 20 and 21.
Right.
There's videos right through all that. Personal videos. A lot of my YouTube videos when I used to walk down the brook and that, they were a little bit more personal of what I thought about what was going on. And then I started diving into it a little bit more and a little bit more. And then I started to learn how to use the internet properly, look in the background to what was really going on, finding documents, finding press releases. And, you know, and literally I've just tried to progress a little bit as I've been going along. I never do too much editing because I always think I'm there to talk. So that's what I do. I don't edit out any mistakes unless there's something that would likely get me pulled down.
Yeah.
I try to do it all in one hit. And
Raw, it's called.
Now with the new editor, I can have a bit more fun, overlay a few pictures rather than just cutting them in and stuff like that, you know. It's oh, excuse me. Hello.
I will be back shortly, okay?
All right, mate, no worries. I'll go back and have a look, see what's happening up in the chat. Thank you for dealing with that, Holly. Sorry. I was getting distracted by the actual StreamYard, funny enough. But yeah, it don't look like Khan's getting his own way now, does he? It's well done, the Blade Runners. Big up the Blade Runners. But I loved seeing them camera vans getting ticketed and being dragged away, funny enough, by a diesel truck. Yes, Stuart, and that is the issue. As you know, you followed me for quite some time yourself, and there are some videos in there that wouldn't be allowed to be posted today. Absolutely not. Although they are fact, they told the truth about it all, which has now come out. But because at the time and the way it was said, there is likelihood they could start taking some of them down.
The proof is out there now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People still say, "Where's your truth? Your proof of what you were saying?" I said, "Well, you've only got to look at what the government are saying now and what they've done in the last year and a half. Even Big Pharma, they've all come out and admitted this shit." I mean, the big one now. Now, this isn't an official report, so I will say allegedly that the one that was issued and everybody took wasn't the one that was tested, apparently. How true this is, I don't know. But it was something different that they issued to the general public to what was submitted for the testing, allegedly testing, I will say on that as well. But, you know, do you believe that? I can't find any absolute proof of it. No press releases or anything like that. It was just something somebody brought up. But I wouldn't be at all surprised.
We'll never know.
No, there's a lot around it. We'll never know. A hell of a lot. Yeah, there are bits that will get leaked. People will find it. Whistleblowers have come out. But it's like with the American government and the UFO and Project Blue Book and the Majestic 12. There are things there that we are never, ever going to be privy to.
I was going to say they're going to own up about aliens before they own up about what happened with the...
Well, they've already started that as a cover story, haven't they, with these ones down in bloody Mexico that they reckon now are genuine after X-ray.
It's alive!
Yeah, one could even be alive, apparently. You know, he's turned to stone, but he could be regenerated. No, Missy, you can't. You can't trust any of them or anything they say now. You've got three choices to make between, to choose between. You've got someone in front of you that is telling you the truth. You've got someone in front of you that is telling you out and out lies. And you've got someone who's just trying to cover something up. Now, straight away, the one telling lies, if you know they're lies, you're going to dismiss. The one telling the truth, you're going to think about if you believe what they're saying or they follow your opinion. If someone is covering something up, they are not telling the truth. They are, in a way, lying. And this is how conspiracy theories start, because someone has hidden something and won't say about it. And then they complain that there's conspiracy theories, and they themselves actually cause it. Yeah, I mean, Holly, it's you've seen it as well as me, because I know you're into that sort of thing with the hieroglyphs and these stone carvings from the past. Now, on some, yes, they do look like aliens. You can't use the excuse that it's someone's interpretation of a human being, because alongside those are very good depictions. That's another big word for a Friday. Of real human beings, and you can plainly see they're human. And then again, you get the ones like I think it's the Aztecs and NASCAR, some of them real old civilizations where their carvings aren't perfect carvings of a human being. And a lot of them are depicted with these, used it twice, got it right twice, with like what we would call abnormal human features. It's what you perceive it as, realistically. I believe there is something out there. I believe there are other races out there in the universe. I don't actually believe we've been visited by any, or I haven't seen proof of any that we've been visited, not defined proof anyway. But if you think with the expanse of the universe that there isn't any other cultures, races, whatever out there, then I would call that person conceited, because the odds are way in favor of there being someone out there. You know, it's everybody goes on about time travel, folding space, that, you know, they could get here, but you know, when you think some of the stars you're looking at there aren't actually there anymore, they're gone.
Beetlejuice.
You know, it's
Beetlejuice.
But yeah, it's just something that you do. Well, I do anyway, sit and think about sometimes, but it's a long story. The vid from the F18 Tic Tac was called Lockheed Martin. Yeah, it seems that Lockheed Martin hold a lot of this information and so-called videos, don't they, Rob? I wonder why. Yeah, that's what I've always said, Stuart. If everybody says, you know, they're a higher level, they're more intelligent, well, any half intelligent being visiting this planet and looking at the fucking state of it, if they got the intelligence to get here, they'd have the intelligence to turn around, put it that way. Unless they were capable of just conquering us and taking whatever they want from us if we've got anything. Which is highly unlikely if you listen to the government, because according to them, everything's been poisoned from the air to the sea to the trees to vegans. Sorry if there's any vegans out there. But yeah, it's been a debate that's been going on for many, many years, with many, many conspiracy theories connected around it. And to be honest, it's hard to pick through them now. It's program, i.e. Lockheed Martin, no. The question is, who was in Russia, China? Yeah. Well, we know the Chinese seem to have their fingers in everything. Yes, they space. Well, I won't call it space travel, but yeah, space race. They're up there. But everybody seems to do it quicker than NASA ever did. I mean, you've got the India now putting one on the moon. I mean, I did laugh at the emojis and the graphics from their live stream of the thing landing. That was absolutely hilarious. Yes, Stuart. Absolutely. And, you know, again, that's another thing that's blown right up now. And I really do think they're losing control. They have lost control. But they're only panicking about it now because after years of us putting it out, mainstream media got hold of it, which meant the masses were seeing it. And they couldn't hide it anymore. And that's why they've spent millions doing still what they were doing, but they've spent millions on hiding it. Totally disgusting. I mean, we're nearly 10 million every day now in a bill just for hotels. I don't think that was calculated with what it costs for border force. The RNLI are losing people because so many call outs, they can't keep leaving their jobs. Yeah, the country's in a right fucking mess, basically. And we're in a bigger mess financially than they're admitting as well. I mean, since they announced that they were in the red, they seem to have come up with billions and billions more pounds to give to people. So how does that work? The bank's lending on a toxic debt? Once I invent the transporter, Rob, I'll be able to get there in like 5-6 seconds. Beam me up, Scotty. But the thing is, by the time you get there, you know, you're going to have Indian takeaways and Chinese on the corners, you know, before the rest of us even get there. And if you think about it, they're trying to clean this planet up. Look at all the shit they've left lying around up there over the years. The thing's going to be like a scrapyard before any human gets there to live. Yes, we are, Missy. Gave them £2 billion for their eco structure or whatever it is, and they can afford to send a rocket to the moon. And people still sitting on the streets in this country starving. That does piss me off.
And India.
India wanted its independence. They got given it. Deal with it, you know. I'm all for helping people and helping other countries, but not at the expense of helping our own first. I mean, I said the other day in a video, if we're not in any fit state to help anybody, then how's anybody going to get any help from us? And they've robbed us blind. We haven't got any more money to give. And they give it away without our consent anyway. You know? I mean, you look at, yeah, okay, Libya, big disaster. But Libya, believe it or not, has got quite a lot of resources when it comes to finances. But already there's money being pledged to that. Again, it was, in my mind, it was a man-made disaster. You don't go building 2 bloody dams in a valley above a city and then build houses in the fucking way of it. Turkey with the earthquakes. Absolutely. Yeah, if they needed help. But again, we're helping them to feed themselves and what have you, and neglecting our own. They just seem to work everything against us. Recently, we made a dinner. Yeah. I did like some of the photos that went up, Stuart, online, though, of the pita bread being used as a moon and the pompadons. See how it works on Mars 35 minutes by surfing a gravity wave. You watch the same Star Trek episodes as me, ain't you, Rob? I mean, don't forget the caretaker can send you anywhere. And Q. Q would come in handy right now, wouldn't he? Although he was a pain in the dick. Come on, guys. Some of you must have some opinions on some of this. I mean, we know Lockheed Martin have been involved in this country for longer than they care to admit. It only came just how much they were involved when they supplied the equipment for the census. Not the last one, the one before that. Free space. We found one app that you haven't used in a while. Okay, so I haven't used it in a while. Fuck off. Sorry, guys. Things coming in on my phone there. Yeah, they've had their fingers in pies for a long, long time. Yeah, Skunk Works. When you think about it, there was the Blackbirds, the U2. They all come out of there. They're supposed to have this new Hyper Scramjet, whatever it's called. And apparently it has actually flown, although some of the pictures I've seen are a bit dodgy. But high frequency gravity wave generator.
Salt
mini reactor. That's beyond me. Yes, Holly. The only one that I don't begrudge what he's done is Musk, because he's done it out of his own pocket or from his business.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, mate.
Okay. I won't be at my computer, so I'm having to use my headset microphone to talk, but just because I'll be downstairs for like, say, 20 minutes. That's why. But
yeah, no worries.
Just carry on.
The Skunk Works and them over there, they have got other stuff. I mean, don't forget they are involved in the X-15 and stuff like that, which is probably well before any of you guys. It was a forerunner for the shuttle. As Rob just made the SR-72, there are quite a few designs being submitted apparently for high speed, and they're looking at turning them into some form of attack aircraft as well, not just surveillance now. But even the Russians have proved now you can shoot satellites down in orbit from a fighter jet, especially some of the new high altitude ones. Yeah, the X-15 was an incredible thing, Rob. I've watched quite a few documentaries on it. Even going back to the original X-1. People don't realise that Britain had quite a hand in it, because the thing trying to go through the sound barrier was very, very unstable. But the Brits had an agreement with the Americans that anything, because we were fighting for the sound barrier race as well. They found that the Brits had something that would stabilize theirs in flight, although we didn't have the power to get to the speed that they did. And there was an agreement in place that we would share technologies to get through the sound barrier. So Britain duly shared the technology of some little winglets on the front. We now know them on most fighter jets as canards. They shared that with the Americans, and it got them through the sound barrier before us. But they never shared any technology in return. But there are unofficial reports of I can't remember what type it was now, but there were reports of a British jet going through the sound barrier way before the Americans did, but it was never ever recognized. I don't believe the one about the Spitfire in a high speed dive went through the sound barrier, because I don't think the thing was capable of doing it. It wasn't aerodynamic enough. It would have fallen apart. But I can well believe that some of our early jets could have gone through it quite easily.
Bit like trying to get an old-fashioned Mini to do up to 70 miles an hour.
Oh, I've had a Mini doing over 120.
Yeah, but didn't it shake your arms to pieces?
No, I did crash about halfway through the race, mind. But that wasn't due to the car. That was due to
Yeah.
driver lack of experience, shall I say, at the time. Yeah, there's lots of... there are reports coming out now, Rob, from Russia. They did release some stuff. But they're still surrounded in secrecy a lot more than the American side of it. I mean, it's not widely publicised, but it is public that they did lose quite a few people early on in the space race. The Russians, that is. There's a very famous alleged recording made in Italy that was listening to the chatter from the Russian capsule up there at some point. And you could hear in the background, we're on fire, we're burning up, and the transmission was just cut. Well, I've never seen any confirmation from the Russians this has happened, but apparently there are reports that said it did. There is a genuine report of one of them that was basically cremated on the way down, coming back, and that the body actually did go on public display. There is videos of it on YouTube, would you believe, as it's an educational video. But we'll never know. There's so much secrecy involved around these projects by governments that we will never know the full extent of where they go. I mean, again, on the medical side, we know governments are involved in that. It's not just Big Pharma. But there seems to be, in the last 2 years, there seems to be an absolute leap in things that will cure you of ailments, serious ailments. Now, no matter when they started these projects or started testing, whatever they want to call it, but it just seems very, very unlikely that they'd all be released within such a short time frame, as it were, within the medical world. I mean, that's another thing that confuses me. Babe, can you draw that curtain behind me there? That sun is coming straight through that window.
Yes, oh, Honourable Lord Master.
Only the right-hand side one.
No.
So the lighting in here is absolutely terrible. When I'm trying to do my videos in the morning, it's in my face in that window, and in the afternoon, it's in that window. But yeah, again, Rob, KGB, I believe they're like the Chinese. They've still got people all around the world that nobody knows about. Same as the Americans and the British have probably got our people in other countries that they'd rather not know they were there, shall I say. We know that's a fact. We know it goes on. We know every country, every government has got a department dedicated to it. Just that some used to come up with some more cockamamie ideas than others. Sad to say, usually in America, projects like Acoustic Kitty, the bat bombs, what was your remote viewing? That's another one. Okay, Lost Souls, no problem, sweetheart. Hi, Danny, if you're in the background there, mate, and you're listening. Yeah, another half an hour or so, and we'll be thinking about shoving something down the necks. That's the only thing with putting the time back on a Friday on these live streams is I don't get to eat a bit earlier than usual. But as usual, Mrs. W there in the background, she'll come to the forefront with something that's usually very, very nice.
Usually?
Yeah.
When has it not been?
When I do it.
No, you said I would usually get you something nice.
You usually get me for what I ask for.
I'll give you what you're asking
if I'm
for
given
in
a choice, that is. Yeah, no worries, Rob. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, if you think about it, they could still be shoving stuff up into space that we don't know about. I mean, most rocket launches they can't hide simply because of the amount of fuel, and they're just visible. But if there are other technical means of them getting up there, who knows? Who knows what they've got?
Teleportation.
Exactly. I mean, if they reckon they've got alien technology, teleportation isn't off the table, depending on what technology the alleged aliens have. Okay. Sorry, guys. I have alerts coming in all over the place here. Some make noises, some don't. But anyway, what has everybody got planned for the weekend in here? Mine's planned. If I'm online, it's going to be on the laptop. So as long as this one's up and running for Sunday, if Pap's going to do a live, it's easier on this big one. Oh, and talk of the devil. Good afternoon, buddy.
You're not talking about me, are you?
I only mentioned you once.
Pop the chat out so I can see what's going on.
Not a lot. Not a lot.
Dear. How you all doing? Hello, Jack.
Yeah, he's off downstairs doing things and that in a minute, but he's got his headset with him, so I've left him open up there. Paul dropped in, but he was having hell of a time with his signal and that, Paul McCory.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. He was in his car, wasn't he?
He came back in when he got home as well, but his signal was all over the place.
Which is what I said, he's got good signal at the hospital.
Yeah, he was better off sitting outside the hospital.
I was thinking exact same thing when I saw it earlier.
Yeah.
Hello, chat. How's everybody? Hope you're all well.
Still 20 odd in there.
I did say hello to a few of you earlier on. Hang on a sec. My headphones are the wrong way round, but they're not. But that's it. That's better.
All hail cult leader. Yeah, we did go through the ranks of the cult earlier.
How's the life been?
Holly was being an executioner in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dear God.
Our little friends that like chatting to each other and that got the wrong side of her and me, so they were dealt with.
I wouldn't like to get on the wrong side of the murder midget.
No, I'll be honest, they weren't bad. They were just getting annoying. They were warned twice, a couple of times.
How's live been? Been all right?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant, mate. Yeah, we've been. I mean, I never have a busy panel, so. But no, the regulars are in there. We've been having some good discussions and some very weird ones at times, but that's usual with me.
I said I'd try and jump on. You know, I like to support you where I can. So you do.
No, absolutely brilliant, mate. I mean, I did put out at the moment there is going to be a live Sunday, but that is subject to change.
Yeah, as of now, as of right now, the live stream is planned for Sunday.
And it is a public one, isn't it?
What date is it? 22nd, yeah. 23rd, 24th, yeah. It'll be the yes, it will be.
One. Yeah, no worries. But it's like I said to you yesterday, mate. If you're up to it, then yeah, fine. But if you're not and you're not feeling up to it at all, then just don't do it. Don't push yourself to do it.
Last week I was just wiped out. I mean, but we'd spoken previously, but I just ended up crashing out on the sofa and I didn't wake up till about 10 o'clock or something. It was just like, oh, shit, missed it. Well, I try where I can on the Sunday to sleep earlier on in the day so that I'm up, as you know. But yeah, last Sunday was, after what I went through on the Thursday.
Yeah.
Obviously I had some surgery on the Thursday, and it wiped me out. So
well, that's the reason I didn't bother giving you a wake up call on Sunday, because I knew you crashed. I knew you'd been up for about 70 odd hours at the time.
Yeah,
and I knew what you were doing. So yeah, we just left you to sleep because we knew you needed it.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't, even if I'd have come on, I don't think I'd have been able to manage, to be honest. I was so out of it. I was just so exhausted, but I couldn't actually sleep most of the time, from Thursday to the Sunday. What did I have? I think I had, from Thursday to Sunday, I think I had 8 or 9 hours sleep.
Yeah, I know you hadn't had a lot.
No, it wasn't. It was 3 hours sleep, because it was a Sunday evening where I had the 6 hours.
Yeah.
So which pushed it up to 9. So I had 3 hours sleep between 4 o'clock on Thursday morning and when I fell asleep on Sunday afternoon.
That's why I say, I mean, your fatigue is a lot worse than mine, and I do suffer from it. It's, as you know, I've dropped out the lives early. That I just start getting that grey in. But I said earlier on, you remember I used to say about my eyes watering and stinging?
Yeah.
I've stopped that simply by
Really?
getting new glasses.
Oh.
They don't do it now.
I should wear my glasses. I fucking rarely do. I look even worse with glasses on like this, don't I? Bandana and glasses. I look a weirdo.
Well, I did when I was using my old setup. I used some different glasses and they were absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But when you gave me these two monitors, it brought it closer to me, which I thought would be fine. I'll put my readers on. But where I've got them on the desk, it's the only place I can put them. And they were between my readers and the other ones that I had. So I had to go and get another pair for the focal length that I sit on the screens.
Yeah.
And that's all I use them for. I don't use them for anything else. And that's where I was getting the issues, I think. I was using the wrong glasses for the different things.
Yeah.
And it was just buggering my eyes up, effectively.
Hiya, Jack. Nice to see you, mate. Where are you? You're in the comments, but you're on the screen, but you're not.
He was downstairs doing something, I think.
Doing tea, probably.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. He said he'd be down there for about 20 minutes. So, well, we'll only be here for about another half hour anyway. So,
right. Well, because I don't know what's going on Sunday just yet, I might as well reveal it today to the people that are watching. I'll give you a little thingy on your live stream there. So I had some surgery done last week, and hence why I'm wearing the bandana at the moment. I did mention it in one of my live streams. I was getting it done, but I might as well show you now. I actually have a hairline now, and that's how far back I was receding, and now I have hair there. Kind of, and on the old headboard rubbing area, I have some hair on there as well now. So yes, I've had hair restoration surgery.
So how's it been? How's it feel to be a 45-year-old with cradle cap?
Right, you can take me off the big screen now, Roger.
There we go.
I still say you should have gone for the brown option, not the grey, says Lost Souls Parent. Yes, thank you. But yes, I now have. I mean, this was slightly further back, the very front bit. Obviously, you can see how far back I was receding in both areas there, which is quite a lot. But now I have a hairline.
And I got to admit, people, I didn't realise he was going to reveal it until Sunday. So that covers. I thought you were just coming on dressing like Zorro. You know.
Zorro. But yeah, it's what is it? It's 10 days. No, it's Thursday, Friday. It's 8 days now. It's been 8 days.
Yeah.
It's been 8 days since I've had it done. Obviously, it's still scabby. But over the next 7 days or so, I have to try and wash them scabs off, and obviously it will stay red for a little bit. Like, it looks like I've been kicked in the head by a horse. It will stay red for a little while, and then the hair will fall out, which seems counterintuitive, but because the hair goes through a cycle, the hair will fall out and then it will start growing back. So yeah, even though it looks like I have a hairline now, give it another week or two.
They're lying.
I'll look like Roger again. I have to plug myself in, Rob. As the solar panels been dulled, I now have to plug myself into the mains.
But he will use more power because he can turn his lighting setup up a little bit because it won't reflect off his head. I mean, you can see it shining off of mine. Oh, mind you, I've got that bloody light on there. That probably don't help. Ah, there we go. Well, actually, I've got no lights on in here at all. It is quite dark. And that's that camera that you gave me. It's probably the best one out of the three.
Yeah.
I've got. Yeah.
Is that, which one's that? The round? Is that the round one or the?
No, the Logi.
Right.
Because two of them, that one and one of mine, you can adjust the brightness on. That one you can adjust the brightness and the focus. That one you can't do fuck all with.
Yeah.
It just does what it wants.
Well, unfortunately, Stuart, I can't put the ginger wig on for a while because the inside of it is quite rough, and I've got to be very careful I've got to be very careful with the grafts. So,
all right, and Holly, thank you very much for coming in today, and thank you for sorting that out where I wasn't watching earlier on. That's absolutely brilliant. And well, I'll probably speak to you over the weekend anyway, so say hi to Danny for us.
Yeah, give us a shout after tea about getting together.
Yeah, Heather said give her a shout after tea.
I'm glad you can't. No, it's fine. See, I've got a monitor screen down in front of my camera on the desk, as well as what I can see on the computer screen. And looking in a monitor screen, I can see just how bad. On here, thankfully, because it's quite small, you can't see just how bad it is.
Well, that bit up the middle, if you look at it when you got it looks like the dick on that big Chinese ancient giant on the side of the hill in Wiltshire or wherever it is. Shouldn't it have a lion skin draped over it?
Shave a little bit in the front, yeah.
Sorry, mate. You knew you were going to get shit from me over it.
Of course.
But that caught me by the op that you actually revealed it today.
Well, I might not be on until Sunday. I don't know. It just depends on how I feel on the day. Unfortunately, I want to be on, and I will definitely try my hardest to be on the Sunday. But I just thought, fuck it. We're going to find out at some point. I might as well show it off now.
Well,
more views.
And it is getting harder and harder to conceal it because people are saying, "Where's Pappy? He hasn't been popping up anywhere."
So yeah,
you haven't heard any more. Now, I heard obviously Simon got his Discord pulled. His second one he pulled himself. So Holly said.
Yeah. He's gone over to Telegram now, I believe.
Yeah. Have you heard of any others?
No.
To
be honest, I've not been on that much, and I rarely go in other people's servers these days. I mean, I have been a member of about 4 or 5 servers. That's all. I don't, I've got enough to do without worrying about 55,000 different servers and notifications every day. So there's only a few that I go in, but the only ones I've heard of is what's it called?
Rotten politics and so.
And yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed weird. I don't know whether it's something they mentioned. My thing went do-dally here earlier because, but it was probably a coincidence. But it went do-dally here, and my chat went, and I had to come out of YouTube and go back in. But about 30 seconds before that, Rob had put a couple of words in there referring to dolls, shall we say, on jam jars years ago.
Right.
And I was just wondering whether they picked up on that, see, because that is a no-no at the moment.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about the fact that those, and I'll be respectful because it's your channel. If it was my channel, I'd say the words.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about what was depicted on the jam jars, and you're talking about the jam jars, there shouldn't be any issue in talking about it. It's
no,
part
they shouldn't talk.
We're allowed to talk about Hitler. We can. And we can talk about all sorts of things. So why can't we talk about that?
As far as I'm concerned, it's history.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, people of colour made an awful lot of money out of it.
Yeah. I used to have a doll.
Just a jam. Yeah. It was, yeah. But it's wokeness, isn't it? It's the way the world is now.
Madness.
Like I said yesterday about Russell Brand. Now, I'm putting aside what he's supposed to have done. But if you look at what's been put out there and what's being said, mainstream media, even bloody government, according to them, he's guilty without a trial.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
And that's the way the world has gone. It's all gone tits up. Anybody, you see it and say it all the time with the police. When they get out here, you're automatically guilty. You've got to prove you're innocent now. They haven't got to prove your guilt. And with these extra powers they're being given again over what I would call political things, they're just going to abuse them. Same as they do.
Of course, any new powers they get, they abuse.
And the Met are going to get away with it now because they got somebody on the panel, actually the chair in the fucking panel, that's going to oversee them.
Who's that? What do you mean? What have I missed?
And you heard?
No, go on.
Sadgit Khan has they started a committee in London to oversee the Met Police on behalf of the public, and he's on the fucking chair.
Right. What I don't get about things like this is they already had panels to oversee the Metropolitan Police. Okay, they had a panel which was, and I've done a video on this quite a while back now, and the majority of the people on the panel were, shall we say, non-Indigenous. Okay, so you had, let's say there was 20 people. I can't remember off the top of it. Let's say there was 20 people. There was like 18 people that were non-Indigenous and 2 people that were. Okay, and these people were supposed to monitor the police and their stop and searches and their body cam footage and things like that. So they already had these things, these committees or whatever you want to call them. They already had them in place, oversight bodies, whatever. And every single one of them, they've either failed, and there's a recurring pattern there. They've either failed or they just want to spend more fucking money from the public purse and have another fucking panel, and then in a few years' time, another panel to oversee the police. And it doesn't matter how many they've got, they still get away with what they do.
Well, straight away they're going to have a legal expert, otherwise they can't make any decisions. They're going to have some police on the board to know what the police do, report to them. So half the board's going to be made up of people that are pro-police anyway, I expect. And he was saying, oh, yeah, it's been going on too long. This was starting to be brought to our attention 20 years ago. And as I said earlier, I said, well, you've been in fucking charge for the last 7.5 years. And what have you done about it? Other than encourage it?
The deputy and assistant commissioners done fuck all when Cressida Dick was in power. It was in the hot seat, so to speak. And then they go and put one of these people that sat back and let her do what she was doing. They let one of them people take over her position.
Yeah.
It's untenable for him. Every single one of them should be fucked right off, and there should be they all should be rehired, or new people rehired based on their actual work record. No complaints. They need to go through all their social media, all of that stuff all over again, like they do when they first join, because we know once they join, yes, initially they go through their social media and check their friends and all that kind of stuff, but after that they don't give two fucks.
Yeah,
which is why we had people that were getting in that were in terrorist groups and shit like that. Do you know what I mean?
Cousins and Carrick were the perfect examples.
Yeah, they've only got to hide it to get in, and once they're in, they don't give a shit.
No.
There should be a regular review of every fucking copper, regular. Yeah, and it should be as intense as the initial recruitment process should be, although it isn't. But that's how it should be, regular. Even if it's every few years, granted, a copper could have a review and then go and do something bad, but you can't review them every day. You can't review them every year because
how often do people that need a DBS check, how often do they have to be rechecked? I haven't looked into that.
Is it annual or 3 years?
It's either annual or 3 years, Heather said.
It might be 3. For some reason, I've got something in my head 3 years. I was going to say that before you mentioned
But even that, if they went through their stuff every 3 years, it would be a fucking good start, and they will pick a lot of them up.
Yeah, of course.
We have to do it as public if we want to work in somewhere where you've got to be security checked and checked for background and shit. So why shouldn't they?
I don't know how many
afternoon, Fat Rip. We're nearly finished now, mate.
History. I've always had an annual review.
Yeah.
Because it does two things. It's, are you looking to go on a course or do some training, or are you coming up to, and are you coming up to the right standard of your work? So it's standard procedure, and that's annual.
Yeah, in the care industry, I'm looking at it now. In the care industry, it's every 3 years. Official recommendations suggest DBS should be renewed every 3 years. However, some organisations have policies surrounding the request when they request checks, and that can vary between every 6 months to every 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the police, obviously, they don't. They'll do them once, maybe. I don't even know if they do a DBS check when they bring them on, because there's so many people that have actually got into the police that have got criminal records anyway.
Well, they were desperate. They were taking everybody, weren't they? Half of them couldn't even speak fucking English, for crying out loud, especially the Met.
I mean, if the 77th Brigade concentrated on checking everybody that's in the what would you call them, protective services industry all the time, rather than checking on the people of this fucking country, then maybe we'll get rid of some of the scumbags, sooner.
Yeah, you got the bad ones looking for supposedly bad ones. It's ridiculous. It really is.
Probably sitting there going, "Oh, he punched his missus in the face. Well, he hasn't raped somebody. He hasn't done as bad as I have, so I'll let him on. I'll let him in."
He's all right, Oh, it's fucking. It is mad, mate. I mean, they've started. Yeah, I mean, we got this thing with the dogs. Nothing like that really hit the headlines until the coppers shot those two. But now, they obviously want to do away with dogs. They don't want us to have dogs, especially ones that are powerful and can do some damage. No matter how they're trained, they see them as an attack animal, even though they might be like a little puppy.
Yeah.
But now they've started this thing where dogs can have this disease that's going to kill us all.
Oh, yeah. Well, three people had caught it the other day, apparently.
Yeah.
Disease from a dog.
I mean, 3 weeks ago, it was 4 people had caught bird flu.
Yeah.
But they're absolutely fine.
They've got dog flu, haven't they?
Yeah, well, why do they keep coming out? I mean, There's always been dog attacks because there's always been bad dog owners and more than likely dogs that have been abused as well.
Yeah.
There has always been quite a high level of them. But all of a sudden, because them coppers shot them two, now every dog attack is being publicised by mainstream media everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, they took everybody's ability to own decorative weapons and things like that because they could be used as an actual weapon, even if it was brought as decorative purposes. They took all of that stuff away, that potential for us to collect things, and they stopped everybody from having that. Now they're targeting dogs. Okay, now this could be twofold. Could be twofold. First of all, it could be an excuse. The police killed those two dogs, and maybe they're going to start shooting more, and maybe they want people to think there's lots of dangerous dogs out there. And secondly, maybe they don't want people to have dogs because they know that they can use the dogs to protect themselves when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another reason. I don't know at the moment, but there's definitely something funny going on.
I got an attack cat, and I'll tell you what, you throw a bloody cat in somebody's face, they can do a lot of damage, I'll tell you.
Oh, God, yeah.
Believe me.
I'd rather
be trying to pull them off.
I think I'd rather be bit by a dog than fucking scratched to pieces, ribboned by a cat.
Yeah. Oh, they can be evil. Like I've seen it. Where was it? I think it was in London. There was video out many, many years ago. This is before sort of YouTube and that. It used to be on the telly. Some lad just grabbed this woman and threw her sort of in a gateway onto a path. And she just reached out to grab anything she could. And she just actually grabbed the cat that was sat there. And she just threw it in this guy's face. And the state of his face after he got it off, it was only on there for about 10 seconds. It looked like he'd been through a fucking cheese grater.
Yeah.
It ripped him to pieces. And the amount of blood coming out of it.
Oh, God, yeah.
The coppers, the firearms officers that shot the Marshal of Millions.
Stop calling them officers. They're not officers. They haven't earned that. They haven't earned that rank.
Okay, fair enough then.
Pigs. Call them pigs.
Well, funny you say that actually, because one of them that shot one of the dogs actually was a sergeant in City of London Police.
Even that, I don't really class that as an officer, but
no. I know what you mean. Yeah, they don't deserve that title. I get what you mean. Yeah.
No, if you're in the army, sorry to interject. If you're in the army, right, you're not an officer until you're an officer, and there's a difference between being a lackey.
Let me rephrase. They were constables, or as we'd like to call them, constables.
Jack on the corner.
Talking about me, son. Talking about me, you bastard.
Am I what?
Sugar rush.
Am I smoking something? I don't smoke anything. I don't smoke.
Sugar rush, Jack.
No, but I did have that. Hold on, I can't reach it. Never mind. I did have that.
They actually take the job as a role of a constable of the peace or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anybody that self promotes is not an officer, and that's basically what the police do.
The thing I don't get is why it's okay for them to go out the way of the law, so go beyond the law, or not within the limits of the law, and to do whatever they want and think they can get away with it, and they all stick together. Do you know, like like a school would, like the teacher, like the head, like the principal, or the headmistress,
because
or
it's
whoever.
ingrained in the service. Man. We've been saying this for years.
Yeah. Well,
gangs,
lots of discussions and stuff. Do you remember how the Met Police are not allowed to wear the blue line badge? Gang badges, basically. They're not allowed to wear them on their uniforms anymore.
Not supposed to. Yeah.
Not supposed to, sorry. Although they still do. Lots of people had lots of conversations with coppers that still wear that, right? And they all seem to say, right, all originated from America, all to do with this whole blue line rubbish about, remembering those that have fought in the line of duty and that, right? Same with the fire service, same with the ambulance. See, they're different, in my opinion. The ambulance and fire service, although it's kind of defacing the flag, the effect isn't the same. Do you get what I mean? Like the whole what it means, like the symbolism of what that badge means, right? With the police, with the blue line badge, that means different. That means a different thing than what the red line badge for the fire service or the green line badge for the paramedics, the NHS, right? Those on the front lines. It's a completely different meaning. The fire service and the ambulance service, in my opinion, do a far better job than what the police do. They have their errors, they have their mistakes, but they're nowhere near as bad as the police.
No, they're not. Absolutely, they're not. And I've said this many times. Roger, back me up on this. The fire brigade and the ambulance service will arrive at an incident, and they will deal with that incident regardless who you are. They don't give a fuck. They're not going to turn up to an incident and go, "Oh, that person told me to fuck off last week. Let's watch him bleed out. Let's watch him burn alive." They're not going to do that. They're going to go in and they're going to rescue that person. They're going to save that person. The police will turn up to an incident and they'll go, "Oh, I don't like that prick. Do you remember when he called me a fucking butthead? Called me a pig. Let's let's arrest him or let's teach them a lesson." And that's the mentality of it, unfortunately.
On the streets, I would say it's probably 50-50 whether they're actually trying to detect a crime or they're just taking revenge, because there's so much of it goes on from them.
I watched a video earlier today. Sorry, Jack. I watched a video earlier today. It was an American video. Delete Laws, his name, the channel, Delete Laws. And I watched it today, and basically, I'm not sure how old the video is, but basically, they have what they call bait cars. Not the police. I'm not talking about the police having bait cars. I'm talking about members of the
stingers. Bait cars, stingers. Yeah.
They'll drive around. They won't break it. They won't speed. They won't do anything. They've got a camera in the front, a camera in the back, a camera on the side. They've got cameras everywhere. Okay, recording everything.
Yeah.
Well, this guy who runs a channel, and the police know who he is, was just driving around, and he had 4 police wagons following him for about half an hour. And in America, obviously, they've got they can listen to the radio traffic, the police radio traffic, where we can't hear. So they're listening to the radio traffic, right? And they're calling for a dog unit from out of state, basically. So what they were doing is they're not allowed to extend the traffic stop. So when they stop somebody in America, they're not allowed to extend the traffic stop to an unreasonable amount of time just to wait for a dog unit to come along. So, and they know that. Okay. So what they've done is they've called for this dog unit out of state or out of town
Loophole.
to turn up. So these 4 police cars are following this guy around for half an hour, waiting for the dog unit to get close enough for them to pull him over. So they've pulled him over, all pulling their guns out. They know who he was, all pulling their guns out on him, telling him to get out of the car and all this, that, and the other. Said that he was speeding, said that he, in some states in America, you've got to put, it's unlawful or illegal to not put your indicator on 200 yards before you turn. So you have to put your indicator on a certain distance before you turn. Okay. And this guy had all of the police body cam footage. He had all of the police car dash camera footage. So he had his indicator on in time, and he wasn't speeding, he wasn't doing anything wrong, and yet he was surrounded by 4 police cars, all pointing their guns at him and his passenger. Another one he got a body cam footage of a copper that was in the police station, down the road, maybe 3/4 of a mile away, who didn't need to be on the scene because there were 4 police cars there already, but yet he ran out of the police station, jumped in his car, running through red lights with his lights on and sirens on to get to this police stop where they already had it under control. 2 people in a car, 4 police cars stopping them, all pointing guns at them.
And have you seen the new way they're doing it with what's his name, Direct D and that? They've got the bait cars now. They'll do a certain pattern and a certain route. And along these routes down the back roads, they've got the rest of the guys with the cameras, just members of the public.
Yeah.
They just happen to come across this when they get pulled.
Yeah.
So you've not only got the ones in the car filming and the ones showing the speedo in the car as the copper's pulling his lights on and shit like that. As soon as they've got them stopped within 30 seconds, there's like 15, 20 guys around them all filming.
It's the kind of thing that we need to start doing over here. I keep saying to people, look, we've got to stick up for each other. We've got to look out for each other. You know, just because somebody's being stopped by the police, it does not mean that that person is a criminal.
Yeah, exactly.
In some cases, they're going to be. But if you're recording that interaction, if they are a criminal, then your footage could help secure a conviction against that person. However, if that person is not a criminal, but the police are acting criminally, then your footage could help to secure a conviction against the police that are creating the offences.
I mean, I had it in the shopping centre up here. It was just after lockdown, but I still wouldn't go out without me chest rig on, me GoPro.
Yeah.
I was just walking through the shopping precinct, and about 100 yards up, I saw about 5 coppers surrounding a lad sat on the wall. Didn't know what it was about. Didn't know why what they were trying to do, what they were trying to get out of him. But I thought, okay, no, I'm going to creep up a bit closer, or just walk up a bit closer, and I'm just going to stand and film. I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to go over calling them anything or anything like that. They did give me some dirty looks, but none of them came over to me.
Yeah.
After about 5 minutes, they let the lad get up and walk away. And he come over, he said, cheers for that, bud. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I hadn't been doing anything. They thought I'd stolen a backpack, he said, but it was quite obvious I didn't have a backpack on. With the CCTV there, if he'd have dumped it, they'd have seen it. So they'd have knew that he had it and they'd have found it. I said, well, no, I said, I was only filming it. I said, if they'd have got out of order, to be honest, I said, I didn't know whether even you were in the wrong or right. I said, but I won't have the police acting the dick, as it were. And he said, no, they did want to question me a bit further because they do know him. He is a known to them. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
But he did say that, no, it was because they looked round and saw you with the camera that they actually cut it a bit shorter than normal. And there was nothing on there, so I didn't publicise the video. There was no point, you know?
Yeah.
You don't know what to expect with coppers nowadays, do you?
No.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
They will go above the law. They will ignore the law. They don't give a fuck about inflicting pain on you for no reason. And they're not the law anymore. They're just thugs with the law behind them.
Yeah. No, I noticed about the cars in my area, right? It's the same cars all the time. They always do like a loop. They always go in a loop, right? I noticed a lot.
About trouble, then you won't have to worry about them.
So they're supposed to be doing proactive policing, right? But their proactiveness is maybe following a certain patrol route that day, right? And then going back up to the station, the local station near me, right? I don't actually know their day-to-day routes because it's not like I go round. It's not like I latch onto the back of the cars and watch them as they go wherever. But then they're never like whenever you need them. Or what's the saying? When you don't need them, they'll show up.
Yeah,
but whenever you need them, they won't show up, kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's why I brought the saying up in the past on your channel, Dan, about the guy who it wasn't a crank phone call, who made a phone call to rang up 999, asked for police, said that he was being that he'd just been burgled into, or whatever, and also he was being burgled in. They were trying to burgle into his house, and or whatever. He told them all the information. And they didn't want to go there. They said they had no available units. That's what they said. And then he rang them back like 5 minutes later. Oh, don't worry about it now. I've shot them.
Yeah,
that's right. And then within 5-10 minutes, firearms officers turn up, and it's like you said you had no available units.
Yeah,
I understand why they would turn up because of what he said. I get it, but if there's no available, because the thing is as well, firearms and traffic don't need to. They're not just prone to the type of firearm, to the type of calls to their specialization. So if you're a firearms officer, you mainly deal
they'll
with
respond to anything.
exactly.
Yeah.
Respond to anything.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't. You have the training and basic policing as well, in addition
Well,
to any
you
specialist
talking
training.
about that, Jack, and not responding.
Yeah.
There's a mate of mine down in Newquay, Gavin. Now, he used to live about 100 yards from a nightclub.
Yeah.
That was well renowned for trouble. It was well renowned for drugs and underage drinking.
Yeah.
Now, on the way out of the nightclub at 2:00 in the morning, as it was back then, the kids coming out there used to create fucking havoc. Now, the front of his house, the front door opened onto the pavement, if you know what I mean. It's in a terrace, no front yard or garden. And they were banging on doors and fucking windows, fighting, smashing bottles. So my mate said, well, I'm going to phone the police. So he's phoned them up. It's, oh, sorry, we haven't got anybody to attend. He said, well, do you know where I am? They said, well, you're obviously in Newquay. He said, yes, I'm actually looking out of my bedroom window, looking into your fucking canteen, and I can see at least 30 of you bastards sat there drinking fucking coffee. And you're telling me that you've got nobody to come out? And he said, fuck you, I'll go and sort them myself. And before he could even open the door with his baseball bat, they were there. Yeah, he could look out of his bedroom window and see them sat in the canteen.
Wow.
You tell me you ain't got anybody to attend.
I do earlier. I do agree about the what you said, Dan, about what they do in America regarding the whole.
Right, Jack, I'm just going to give it another couple of minutes for you to finish off, mate.
Okay,
that's gone 7:00 now, and I can hear my stomach rumbling, even if you can't.
No, all I was going to say was when Dan mentioned earlier about the whole reasonable suspicion thing and the probable cause thing that they need to stop someone in America, they should use that in the UK as well. The whole documents check thing nowadays, it's used and abused, and there's loopholes in it. You know, it's used and abused all the time. It's not good enough. Back in the day, it obviously it wasn't necessarily an issue. It wasn't as bad, but now you can just get pulled over for nothing. You don't even need to have anything wrong.
Jack, I've got news flash for you, mate.
It's going to get worse.
It's been going on for fucking donkey's years. It's only because it's made preference and people have got to hear about it now through social media. It was going on long before the internet even fucking became.
Fair enough, then.
In my opinion, it should be, and granted, they do need to have the power to stop people, okay? But in my opinion, if the police are driving along, rather than just going, oh, let's pick on them, they look dodgy, let's just go pick on them. Rather than that, if somebody does contravene a traffic signal or sway over the white line or speeding or any of that stuff, then fine, stop them and check their details. Because if somebody's got no insurance, in most cases, they probably haven't got a license, which probably means that they can't drive properly anyway. So they're going to fuck up. So if they fuck up, then fine, use that, pull them over and say, look, I've stopped you to check your driving details because, your driving isn't on par with what we would expect it to be, perhaps, right? But just randomly stopping people, I think, is just used to relieve boredom in many cases. Yes, granted, they do find some people in that respect, the same as they do with stop and search. They find people with stuff on them that might have, but I don't think that we should have our rights eroded to that level.
No, yeah, I agree.
If they have harsher punishments for the crimes, then less people would fucking be willing to commit them.
And there are there are lots of harsh crimes in this country that people are doing every single day, and the government or the police or whatever either letting them off, they're not interested, they're not bothered. I'll use the P word, for example. You know what I might be referring to. There's lots of cases where that happens, and some of them do get caught. But most of them will either just get let off, a slap on the wrist or whatever, or they'll get 6 months, a year, or even less if they're on good behaviour, and it's not good enough.
No, it's not.
The justice system is fact.
It is, mate. It is.
So
Right, Roger.
Heather must be on her phone. I'm just looking around. I can figure out she just put a comment in there, but she's not sat at her laptop. She must have a phone out in the kitchen.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Roger, and nice to see you, Dan. Wasn't on the computer at the time. I was on my phone when I saw you.
That's right. No worries.
But very nice transformation, by the way.
Well, we'll see how it goes over the next. Hang on. No, it's fucked off. I hate that. You know, when you get a sneeze and you get right to that point where it's going to come out and it goes, nah, I'm only fucking kidding.
It's a start, though, isn't it? It's a start. Your hair's a start. It's a start.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take between 8 and 16 months, or 8 and 18 months in order for it to come through completely, end result. Because this hair has got to fall out soon, and it goes through one cycle, then it will fall out again, and then it will come in normally. So what you don't realise when you've got hair is that you'll lose loads of hair every day. Right. You just don't realise it because your other hair covers it up.
That's right.
Some of us more than most.
Because these have all been put in, although these have come from the back of my head, because these have all been put in at the same time, these will almost invariably all fall out at the same time. Yeah. So I will go back to, the receded bit, and then it will start growing through again. And again, it's got to go through that cycle. Yeah. And then once it's gone through one or two cycles, it will be, on par with the rest of it. So it's going to take a while, but we'll see how it goes. I'm happy with it so far. It's nice to have, my face is a bit more framed off, although I've got, I need to lose weight still. My face is a little bit more framed off there. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. And I'm just imagining now 2 years down the line. Give it a year down the line. We've got our dictatorship. We're all wearing grey overalls, and we've all got to shave our heads to save the pollution.
Are you still sleeping throughout the day? Lots of times.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
So all right, and guys, Dan, absolutely wonderful, brilliant that you could drop in for a while. Muchly appreciated.
Nice to see you, Dan.
Hopefully,
thank you, Jack.
We'll have a good one again Sunday. The last few before you dropped off for a bit there was they've been getting a lot better. Jack, nice to see you again, buddy.
Nice to see you too, Roger.
You joining us on Sunday, Jack?
Fingers crossed I should be. My brother and my dad have 2 weeks off. So they're not at work for 2 weeks. Obviously, that doesn't mean I'll be on the computer every single day, all day, but I should be on because it will be in the night. So, I shouldn't see why not, because I've got nothing else important to do. But we'll have to take it as it comes. But
no worries. Yeah, well, it's the same here anyway. I've got to see how things go.
You want to
if I manage to get to sleep during some daytime, then there won't be an issue. But we'll, as I say, we've got to play it by ear. Hello, the lovely Mrs. W.
Hello, gorgeous. Good to see you on. Thank you for the big reveal. I just thought I'd come and say goodbye to everybody. Just been out putting the oven on so that we can have something to eat shortly. But have a good weekend, everyone. And
you.
Yeah. See you all soon. See you Sunday, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
We'll be having a Sunday dinner on Sunday, so looking forward to that.
We got some of the family over, so
okay.
Right, everybody in the chat.
I love bangers and
nearly 20 in there just then. Thank you very much for attending today.
Thank you very much.
It's been another excellent stream. There wasn't any hassle in the chat, but there were things that needed to be dealt with that we were fed up with. So until the next one.
See you
later. As always, stay safe, stay strong, stay absolutely free.
Oh, I love that.
Hang on.